That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Staying active and healthy as we age starts with strong bones. To keep your bones strong, you need calcium, vitamin D, and regular exercise. A bone density test called DEXA helps detect low bone mass and bone disease called osteoporosis. If you're 65 or older, Medicare provides free bone density tests every 2 years. Ask your doctor to schedule yours. For more information on how to be bone strong, visit pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker! It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning and welcome in. Indeed it is Sports 56 Mornings, Hump Day edition. Although with the holiday tomorrow, is it really Hump Day? I don't know. I don't know if it's still Hump Day or not. If most people have the day off tomorrow with the big 4th of July holiday. Going to be another warm day today in the Mid-South. Already up to 74 degrees with a heat index over 80 degrees. And today, a lot like yesterday, only a little bit warmer. High today expected to get near triple digits. Up in those upper 90s, maybe even touching 100. Lots of sunshine, maybe a few clouds here and there. So if you're going to be outside, be sure to hydrate, as they say. Heat index supposed to get up around 110 today. So going to be a warm one. No doubt about it. Tomorrow for the 4th of July holiday, supposed to be slightly cooler. Highs in the mid-90s. Heat indexes in that 105 range probably. Chance of a thunderstorm, as there always seems to be when it's this hot. There's always a chance of a thunderstorm popping up. But hopefully the weather will be good for the holiday, especially tonight, tomorrow night. Lots of fireworks shows around the area. We will give you an update on where you can find fireworks. A lot of shows tonight. If you're looking for fireworks, a lot of the places are going to be doing them tonight. We'll tell you all about that during the show today, where you can find those fireworks shows going on over the next few days for the 4th of July holiday. We are live in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, that's where family and fun come together. Spending a 4th of July holiday in one of those great pools from Family Leisure, that's always a great idea. Get on over to Family Leisure. Check out 24-foot above-ground pools for just $19.99. ladders, filter systems, cleaners, all kinds of stuff on sale right now at Family Leisure that you can take advantage of. Patio furniture, play gyms, hot tubs. Check it out at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road. That's just north of I-40. Coming up on today's program at 8:05 today, Keith Wood will join us. Keith Wood, who is a teacher over at Christian Brothers High School. A few years ago, he was on the program talking about a book he wrote about Memphis high school basketball and kind of the history of that. He's now got a book out about the Memphis Red Sox and the Negro Leagues. Obviously, the Negro Leagues over the past few weeks have, maybe in the last month or so, have gotten a lot of attention because they had the whole situation where Major League Baseball made the decision to officially recognize Negro League statistics as part of Major League Baseball statistics. Then the game that was played at Rickwood Park down in Birmingham with the death of Willie Mays, all of those things. There was the story that a lot of folks posted from a GQ article about Willie Mays from, I don't know when it was, I can't remember, 2010, somewhere in that range, about the thing that happened between him and Satchel Paige that happened in Memphis, according to Willie. So a lot of history about the Negro Leagues here recently, and no better person to talk about the history of the Memphis Red Sox than the guy who's wrote the book about it. Keith Wood will join us at 8:05, talk about that book, talk a little bit about the Memphis Red Sox, which is a team that you don't hear much about, really. It's really weird, when we hear about the Negro Leagues. Even being here in Memphis, it's not that comes up. I remember the first time I really heard about the Red Sox was when Charlie Pride, the great country singer, was here for a Martin Luther King Day game. He was doing, I think he performed at halftime, if I'm not mistaken, of that, and he was on the show, and he played for the Memphis Red Sox back in the day, and so we talked about it with him. But Keith Wood coming up at 8:05, at 8:25, 8:30 in there. Kerry Miller, who normally joins us on Thursdays, but because of the holiday tomorrow, he has moved up to Wednesday. He will join us. We'll talk some Major League Baseball with Kerry. 9:05 today, DeMichael Cole, talking Grizzlies. Of course, we haven't talked to him since the draft happened and since free agency and the negotiations begun, although, again, still very quiet on the Grizzlies front. But we'll talk with DeMichael Cole about what could still happen and his thoughts on the draft picks that they made last week, as we have not talked to him since last Wednesday. There's an interesting situation at Utah State as head coach Blake Anderson, their football coach, is out, or appears as though he is out. Not something you often see in early July, and not a whole lot of details about the situation, but Blake Anderson and a couple of others in the athletic department at Utah State have been let go. Memphis women's basketball adding another big-time home opponent to their schedule. The lawsuits versus the NCAA, well, we thought maybe with this big settlement that's happening, creating the revenue sharing, maybe some of the lawsuits would stop. Well, there's more lawsuits coming. Now it's the Kansas basketball players. Yes, those Kansas basketball players. The ones that beat the University of Memphis. Mario Chalmers, Sharon Collins, and others that are suing the NCAA. We'll talk about that. From the NBA, free agency continuing. A couple of guys with Memphis ties finding homes. And again, more of the, if you were in the whole thing of the Grizzlies, you still wanted the Grizzlies to get a veteran big man, the options are really, really dwindling at this point. Really dwindling as those guys continue to find homes. The Golden State Warriors trying to put together things after the departure of Klay Thompson. And the Lakers introduced their draft picks. And the Caitlin Clark effect continues in the WNBA. So we'll get into all of that coming up on today's program. Zach Boyd, happy 4th of July Eve to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. With it being the 4th of July Eve, tonight, lots of fireworks shows that you could catch. Redbirds will have their fireworks tonight. That's always a very popular event, the 4th of July fireworks for the Redbirds. They will be tonight after their game against Nashville. There will be fireworks out in Bartlett tonight. Collierville will have their fireworks show tonight. There will be the Liberty for All event, which is at Liberty Park. That's live entertainment, food trucks, carnival games, all kinds of things going on over at Liberty Park. That's going to be going on today. That's from 5 until 9. Bartlett's fireworks, that'll be at the Flaherty Municipal Center. Collierville's will be at Cox Park. Germantown fireworks will be tomorrow night. Graceland's got a big event, their All-American Weekend, which gets underway tomorrow and goes through Saturday. So there's all kinds of good stuff going on, and if you want to catch some fireworks, you can do that at many areas around town. And, of course, you'll see a lot of them just everywhere. If you just look into the sky, you'll see the folks who shoot the fireworks off from their homes.
Even in your local neighborhood.
That's right. It might be next door.
It might not be as spectacular, but it gets the job done.
The next couple days, next couple nights, really probably, I'm guessing,
month.
Through the entire weekend. Yes, and probably next month. Not fun for dogs. Dogs don't enjoy this. Generally, dogs don't enjoy the fireworks. Some are okay with them. Others, like mine, freak out. But, yeah, it won't be tonight. You'll be hearing a lot of fireworks all over the place. Same will be happening tomorrow night and, again, throughout the weekend as well. I mentioned this situation at Utah State. Blake Anderson, of course, who was formerly at Arkansas State, is out of a job. Here we are in early July, and Utah State is making a coaching change. And again, there's not a ton of details around this, but he was placed on administrative leave and will be terminated, or as they intend to terminate him, along with Deputy AD Jerry Bove, maybe, and the football director of player development also being dismissed. Again, details of this have not been all released. The statement said it's an alleged university Title IX policy violation that happened in spring of last year. They said that those policies require, and this is a quote, require full and timely reporting of disclosures of sexual misconduct, including domestic violence, and prohibit employees from investigating disclosures of sexual misconduct themselves. The statement continues more. Today's actions are the result of a thorough external investigation, and we believe the evidence demands immediate action. Our job is to fearlessly hold ourselves and others accountable for their conduct and to make sure that for the sake of our students and our community, we are living the values of our university. So I don't know. I don't know if this means Blake Anderson was accused of something, or if he, like, as far as the misconduct, or if he's on the side of he apparently investigated a disclosure of sexual misconduct himself. Maybe there was something with a player, maybe it was an assistant coach, and he, instead of reporting it, did his own investigation. Again, it's very unclear, but you've got three. You get your head football coach, you've got your football director of player development, and a deputy athletic director who was the interim athletic director, was at one point the interim athletic director before they hired their current athletic director, at Utah State who are all out of jobs over this. Now, Anderson apparently has hired Tom Mars. Tom Mars always pops up as the lawyer in a lot of these cases when it comes to things with the NCAA. Tom Mars issued a statement. Like any university, Utah State could fire Blake Anderson for any reason as long as they paid his buyout. However, based on the facts alleged and the language in Blake's employment agreement, Utah State is going to be fighting an uphill battle if they try to fire him for cause just to avoid paying Blake what he's owed. Stiffing a head coach by blaming him for what his supervisor allegedly failed to do is a novel approach and hasn't been tried before, but that theory will never hold up in court. That's a statement from Tom Moore. So based on that statement, it kind of makes you think there must have been somebody within the football program accused of the sexual misconduct or whatever. And I guess they're saying that Anderson didn't report it, these other people didn't report it, and they must have done their, I guess, kind of own investigation of it instead of going to the proper people. But I don't know. Again, there's not any other details out, but Blake Anderson, who I think, if I read correctly, I want to say he and his wife just had a child like a couple days ago. It's like they just had the birth of a baby, and now he's out of a job at Utah State. So we'll see. I'm sure more details will be coming out on that probably today, or certainly over the next couple of days, as folks continue to dive in and see if they can figure out what happened. But Tom Mars obviously ready to fight it and say they're not going to be able to fire him with cause in that situation. Nate Dreiling, who I think is 33 years old, will be the interim coach. And he is new to Utah State. He came over from New Mexico State, I believe it is. He will be the interim head coach, but and I assume will coach out this season. And we're talking about media days, SEC media days, not next week, but the following week. I think Big 12 media days are the first one. They're coming. All these media days are coming up, and Utah State now has fired their coach here in July. Speaking of the NCAA, the lawsuits keep on coming. The latest one, we heard a couple of weeks ago, the players from the NC State 1983 team, they were suing because they didn't like the fact that the highlight, the Lorenzo Charles dunk at the end of that is constantly used in advertisements for the NCAA tournament. So they sued the NCAA and the Collegiate Licensing Company for unauthorized use of their name, image, and likeness. In that lawsuit, they said for more than 40 years, the NCAA and its co-conspirators have systematically and intentionally misappropriated the Cardiac PAC's publicity rights. That's what that team is known as, including their names, images, and likenesses associated with that game and that play, reaping scores of millions of dollars from the Cardiac PAC's legendary victory. Now it's the Kansas Jayhawks' turn. Mario Chalmers, Sharon Collins, other players from Kansas, and other players from around college basketball have gotten into a class action lawsuit, which has been filed. They are suing the NCAA, the Big East, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, and Turner Sports Interactive. And their lawsuit, what they say, Mario Chalmers, Sharon Collins, and other members of the 2008 Kansas Jayhawks National Championship men's basketball team have been paid nothing by the NCAA or its partner, TSI, that's Turner Sports, for the continued use of their names, images, and likenesses in promoting and monetizing March Madness. The same is true for thousands of former NCAA athletes across all sports whose names, images, and likenesses are continuing to be displayed for commercial purposes by the NCAA, its member conferences, and its partners such as TSI. So the NCAA just can't, it's just, they can't get away from lawsuits. And again, I have no idea what kind of a case they have here. I'm certainly not a lawyer. I understand their point in that their plays, obviously the Mario Chalmers shot, the Lorenzo Charles shot, all these are plays. Obviously Bryce Drew, you would think, would certainly have if these things are good, then Bryce Drew should certainly be on board. Bryce Drew, that play. And I don't, and sorry, Keith Carter, but like the Keith Carter and Ole Miss, like if you're, or Memphis in the case of the Kansas, like if you were out there on the court on the other side of it, do you have a case to be in? You were on the court. That play is showing you as well. But I have no idea if they have a case or not. But goodness gracious, if they can win these cases, just think of the Michael Jordan. The shot that he hit.
Yeah, Christian Laettner.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of these shots that have been shown for years and years and years. Like, at what point, like, where does it stop? I mean, these are the most famous plays, like Keith Smart. You could go down the list of the famous NCAA tournament shots. And if you're going to say that they can't use them, or that they owe the players money for using them, my goodness. Because to me, Raider Corey brings up Tyus Edney, another one. My thought would be, and again, I am not a lawyer, but it just seemed, again, and logic does not often apply in lawsuits. It's the law that applies. The NCAA puts on a basketball tournament. They pay the teams. Teams get money for appearing in the conference tournaments or in the NCAA tournament. Turner Sports pays the NCAA a whole bunch of money for the television rights to that tournament. CBS tournament, whatever, whoever you want to go with, whoever's carrying it at that time. Again, as you go further back, Turner wasn't involved. It was just CBS. So if they pay and buy the rights to the broadcast of those games, that video from those broadcasts belongs to them. Whoever's involved in the video. Like they paid for it. They paid for the rights to broadcast them. They did the broadcast, and now they have the video from those broadcasts. And regardless of what happens or who's involved, they can use those to promote future broadcasts. That would be my thought. I don't know. Maybe there's a lawyer out there that would say that there's something else, but it just seems like once they've bought those rights, they have the rights to that video. But, I mean, again, if you start, and Ryan says, how long before Grant Hill and Christian Laettner sue for the shot? NCAA uses that clip all the time. Yeah, I mean, again, think about the famous shots. Michael Jordan, Christian Laettner, Tyus Edney, Bryce Drew. I mean, these are clips, these are videos that we see every single year at the NCAA tournament. But again, CBS bought the rights to that. They aired it. They should be able to use it, regardless of who is in it. Because again, I don't think they're using the name. I guess they're technically using the image. Like they're using, yes, are they using Mario Chalmers' image? Yes, just because he's the one that actually hit the shot. Or Lorenzo Charles. They're using their image. But can you argue that they're using him to make millions of dollars, like they say? I don't know. Like that seems a little weird to me. That seems like a stretch. But again, with the way the NCAA's track record is in court, if you're one of these players, you might as well. You might as well take your shot. The NCAA does not win very often. Matter of fact, they seem to never win in court. Tony is dialed in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. What's up, Tony?
Well, I got to totally disagree with you. Like, good morning to you, because of the fact that if the player, what's his name, that played for UCLA filed the lawsuit that triggered just about all of this, Kittles?
No, it was O'Bannon. You're talking about Ed O'Bannon.
O'Bannon, right.
The one that, way back started all this stuff.
Right. If he started it back then, and let's say this, when I look at the NCAA, I do hear them say Chalmers with the shot. I hear them say that. Or Leitner, would you show Grant Hill?
Yeah, because they're showing the highlights. So, yes, the name is going to be in there.
But so the NCAA has not been fair to amateur players in the first place, which triggered all of this stuff, which I think they got a doggone good case. I've always said that I thought the NCAA, the way that they robbed people, and it was a farm system for the NBA or NFL, that players should have been paid something. I thought it was very unfair, and regardless, I would have put, I think whoever they got for a lawyer was a great lawyer, because you throw everybody in the pot. Everybody got to pay, and everybody should be paid. NCAA messed up a few years ago also when they was around talking stuff that they do stuff in the best interest of players when they was giving box lunches to kids at the NCAA tournament when COVID hit. So, like I said, the Roosters can come home to roost, and I hope they have to pay, and I hope they have to pay without the wazoo.
So, Tony, along that line, though, can they never show highlights from a game? Like, anytime you show a highlight from a game, you have to pay the player that was, like, do they got to go through, when they go to one shining moment at the end of the tournament, they got to go pick out every player that was in it and pay him for that?
I think so. Maybe you should start using cartoon characters. That way you don't have to pay. But I mean, let me ask you this. Every time Michael Jordan is shown with Gatorade, he get paid, or Nike. I mean, man, it's just the way of the world right now. And people are finally getting smart to get their due. I mean, I hope it happens to these media companies like the Facebook, Meta or whatever their name is.
Yeah.
It's using people's free images for their benefit. Those people should get paid. But, I mean, I'll give them credit for one thing. When they first started it and you signed up, you signed away a lot of your rights. But when my kids was in school, I never let Shelby County school system use my kids' likeness on any of their benefit, because I want to get paid. I don't care if you make a quarter, you're going to give me a nickel. That's how it should be. That's America. This is capitalism. And if we don't agree, we go to court. And I commend those guys for doing that, because if there's anything that's ever been a crook, there's been a judge, jury, and the law too, it's been the NCAA. They are a crooked organization. You look at what they did to some of the players that played in that 2008 game at the University of Memphis. They can't even hang a banner up. Wow. And they were some of the most winningest players ever. Is that right?
That stuff's ridiculous. There's no doubt as far as that. Vacating and all that stuff.
You strip a team saying that they didn't play, but you still show the game when it's leading up to it.
Yeah,
it's all ludicrous.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it. Yeah, again, I kind of understand it, but it just seems like because again, so what, can we never show highlights of a past tournament without going back then and paying that player who was in that highlight? And again, does it apply to everybody who was on the court? Or is it just the person who's mentioned in the highlight? Was it Antonio? Who was the one out there guarding Mario Chalmers? Who did he hit the shot over? Was it Antonio?
I thought he hit the shot over Dozier.
Was it Dozier?
Yeah.
So, does Robert Dozier have a case because he was right next to him? I don't know. I am certainly no lawyer. I have no idea. And I don't blame them for trying. Again, you might as well take your shot at the NCAA. Everybody else wins. But again, where does it end? Literally, does one shining moment. Can they go back to every one shining moment that's ever been shown and go, hey, I was in that. They used my image there. You got to pay me for that. I don't know. Like, we are sorting all of this stuff out as far as the NCAA is concerned right now. And again, for those past athletes who are now seeing current athletes making millions of dollars based off their name, image, and likeness, I'd be pissed off too. Like, God dang, why couldn't I have made a bunch of money when I was in college? Obviously for a guy like Michael Jordan, didn't matter. He went on to do okay. I mean, heck, Mario Chalmers went on to make plenty of money, I would think. Sharon Collins, maybe not so much. Some of these other guys, yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, some of these guys have that moment, in the NCAA tournament and never have an NBA career, but they have that moment in the NCAA tournament that goes on to be shown forever. It's an interesting thing, though. But again, so now that Kansas is on board, if you're talking NC State, Kansas, who's next? Is it the Duke guys? Is it Bryce Drew? Is it Tyus Edney? Like, Keith Smart? Go down the list, dude, of those moments that are, we all know, they're the historic moments of the NCAA tournament, have been shown forever. Who was the dude who hit the Villanova shot just a few years ago?
Chris Jenkins?
Yeah, Chris Jenkins. Like,
But I thought that was within the 2016 timeline that they...
Oh, yeah, he might be. He probably is getting money. But again, would be a separate thing. I don't know.
Good. I mean, you know how many angles they got off of off of his shot alone.
Yeah, I mean, that thing showed constantly. So, I don't know, but this will be interesting to see where this could go, and again, what other players. Because again, this one isn't. There are a bunch of other players involved. Like, there are players involved in this, and I'm like, what? They don't have like some noteworthy highlight. Like, are they just? What are they? Is it literally just I played in the NCAA tournament? I'll go through some of those things. I don't even know, like, because there are a bunch of them. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess he played in the NCAA tournament, but really, just playing in the NCAA tournament now. In past years, you're saying you deserve to be paid. We need to take a break, though. We'll come back. Sports 56 mornings here on Sports 56 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Smoke is our sauce.
What is the Central Barbecue slogan? What are we playing?
Well, I just think that we don't emphasize often enough that even though Central Barbecue offers a variety of sauces at all of their many locations, Central Barbecue's barbecue doesn't even really need the sauce.
We should mention that more often. Central Barbecue doesn't take any shortcuts. The barbecue at Central Barbecue is slow-smoked Memphis style for 24 hours to make it so flavorful you really don't need sauce.
That was my point. Well, boy, do they have great sauces.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to go sauce-free at Central Barbecue. I'm just saying I could.
Again, exactly my point. Look at my copy. It's the first thing I said. You just hijacked the commercial.
See how it feels?
This summer, click into easier yard cleanup with same-day delivery from the Home Depot. Clearing overgrown grass or weeds with effortless gas-like power. And click into the convenience of a battery platform compatible with over 250 tools with the Milwaukee M18 fuel trimmer now for just $199. Buy savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Or selected automatic
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Success is more than a destination. It's a path you take one step at a time. It's dedication, it's fortitude, and it's the hard work and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. That's what Stifel's been doing for over 130 years, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing wealth management firms in the country. From helping you plan for retirement, save for college, and leave a lasting legacy, Stifel has you covered. As a client, you'll have access to award-winning equity research and investment strategy views, enabling you to make informed decisions regarding your hard-earned wealth. Because success is the drive it takes to keep pushing. It's the passion to keep investing. It's the best of each of us made better by the best in all of us. And that is where success meets success. Find a financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in town Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. They finally opened it back up on this crash here in the Midtown area. 240 southbound at South Parkway. It's flowing a lot better than it was a few minutes ago. It's finally starting to pick up a bit here on 40 West coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County. Plenty of radar all over the area. Give yourself extra time out here. You're going to see a lot of that over the next 48 hours. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversions. HavenlyShowers.com has all the details. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
So along with the Kansas guys in that lawsuit, other plaintiffs include Alex Oriaki, that's a name I haven't heard in a while, who played at UConn and Missouri, DeAndre Daniels from UConn, Roscoe Smith from UConn and UNLV, Vincent Council from Providence, Matt Pressey from Missouri, Eugene Edgerson from Arizona, A.J. Bramlett from Arizona, Jason Stewart from Arizona, Gerard Coleman, Providence and Gonzaga, Justin Green of Kent State, Ron Gipley of Providence, East Tennessee State, and James Cunningham from Arizona State in Tulsa. I mean, it's, I certainly don't know most of those names. So if the NCAA is using their names for advertisements, I certainly don't remember those. But again, be something to keep an eye on and see what happens as far as that is concerned. The NBA free agency. We've got news here this morning on one LeBron James. And it's a shocker. Boy, let me tell you, it's a shocker. LeBron is staying with the Lakers. Who would have thunk it? 2-year deal. $104 million. So will this be LeBron's last contract? Gosh, you'd have to believe that he can't play more than 2 more years. But it is done now. Yesterday, Bronny was introduced. Today, LeBron is signed. Or, well, I guess he can't technically sign. Agrees to the deal. $2 years, $104 million. Not bad money if you can find it. They continued yesterday with the Bronny press conference. It was Bronny and Dalton Connect introduced their draft picks. And the Lakers continued to try this whole thing of like, no, he deserves this. Like this is like he's a legit NBA prospect that deserved to be 55th and deserves to have a regular NBA deal, not a 2-way deal. J.J. Redick, when Bronny said something about, I can't remember exactly what his thing was, but Redick jumped in. Rob and I did not give Bronny anything. Bronny has earned this through hard work. Listen, Bronny has, yes, worked hard. I mean, to come back from the heart issue, all of that stuff. I do not doubt that. And I applaud him for that. But again, don't try and sell me that a guy who shot 36% from the field and 24% from three-point range and averaged 4 points per game in his one college season would have been picked 55th overall and given a regular NBA contract, which it appears is what they're going to do, if his name wasn't Bronny James. I mean, that's ridiculous to try and act like this is anything other than what it is. Making LeBron happy. And obviously, LeBron now signs his 2-year deal, so you made him happy enough. You got his podcast partner as head coach. You got his son on the team. He signs a 2-year deal to stay in L.A. Just quit trying to act like everybody's an idiot and doesn't see exactly what has happened in L.A. And now that they've got the LeBron deal done, and obviously he did not take the discount. You know, that was the talk was, you know, LeBron might be willing to take a discount if it meant getting a top player. Well, 2 years, $104 million, that is not a discount. You know, the names like DeMar DeRozan were out there, Miles Bridges. So does that mean they realize they're not getting them? Or was there ever any truth whatsoever to LeBron taking a discount to try and get somebody? Because once that deal's done, again, now they are to the point where they won't really be able to add anybody other than minimum contracts. Oh, unless they make a trade. But they missed out on Klay Thompson. Who was the other one they were supposed to be?
Jonas.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody else. I can't think of it at the moment.
So they keep missing out. And now the LeBron deal is done. And again, that would take them out of the DeMar DeRozan market. I don't see how they could, unless there was some sort of sign and trade, but I don't see how that would possibly work. DeRozan, I guess now, again, LeBron was technically available, even though everybody knew he was going back to L.A. So I guess DeRozan now is the top free agent out there. We'll see where he ends up. Yesterday, James Wiseman, there were a lot of people here in town, kind of had the thought, oh, what about Wiseman for the Grizzlies? That's a guy that you could take a shot at as an extra center. Well, that's not happening. He's going to the Pacers. 2-year deal with Indiana for Wiseman. And I think that's a good fit for Wiseman because the way they play up and down the court, that's the best thing for him. Just run up and down the court. Another guy with Memphis ties, former Grizzly, Kyle Anderson, joining DeAnthony Melton with the Golden State Warriors in a sign-and-trade deal. 3 years, $27 million. Minnesota will get a second-round pick swap and some cash. So those teams that battled the Warriors are now joining the Warriors. And you got Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton, both who had part of those teams, now with the Warriors. Speaking of former Grizzlies, Xavier Tillman, X-Man, going to return to Boston. Gets the ring. Now he stays with Boston. Good for him. Mo Wagner, another one of the centers that was out there. Again, it was always thought that he would be returning to Orlando. He is returning to Orlando. Jonathan Isaac is staying in Orlando. The Warriors, along with adding Kyle Anderson and again DeAnthony Melton, reportedly in talks to try and acquire Buddy Hield from the 76ers. That would be a sign and trade deal. Hield, I guess, would be their replacement for Klay Thompson. He would be the new Splash. He'd be the Splash stepbrother. Could he be the Splash stepbrother?
I guess.
But I think that was Shams who reported that.
Yeah.
They're in those talks.
Yeah.
Heald is in the midst of playing in the Olympic qualifying tournament for Bahamas, which they won last night. They're over in Spain playing in that Olympic qualifying tournament. By the way, in that, Slovenia lost, and it's looking like it's Luka is probably not going to be in the Olympics because Slovenia is probably not going to make it. Which, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, wouldn't you be thrilled if he doesn't make the Olympics? Because the dude was banged up. Really, the last half of the year for sure, and there were times in the postseason, like you could tell, he was really struggling. Now he's playing in an Olympic qualifier. If he then went to the Olympics, made the Olympics, and played, like if you're Dallas, you're probably like rooting, absolutely, Slovenia, please lose. Luka, go get some rest for goodness sake. But yeah, they look like they are probably not going to make the Olympics as far as that is concerned. Kemba Walker, speaking of guys who, in their college days, not maybe one signature play, but certainly had the amazing run in college at UConn to the championship. He announces his retirement yesterday at 34 years old, four-time NBA All-Star, college national champion at UConn, Kemba Walker. I think he played overseas this past year. He announced his retirement. He'd been battling injuries and other issues over the last few years. This hour of our program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Go to biggreenegg.com to get all the details. Or you could go to Ace Hardware stores here in town or Hamilton Fireplace to see the Big Green Egg in person. See the different sizes of the eggs, all the egg accessories, everything you can imagine. I fired up my Big Green Egg last night. Made a little skirt steak on the Big Green Egg. Absolutely delicious. Got that thing up to about 600 degrees to sear that steak. Man, oh man, was it good stuff. I'm telling you, there's no other grill like it. It's just the best grill there is. The versatility, everything it allows you to do. Once you kind of figure it out and learn how to, control the temperature at whatever temperature you're trying to cook, man, oh man, it is a life changer, no doubt about it. The Big Green Egg, they bring you this time of our program each and every day. Wrap up hour number one right after this on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Don't miss the Independence Day sale at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Take advantage of incredible deals like 20% off all used clubs, Orange Dot apparel starting at $29.99, and all closeout shoes and bags get an extra 20% off. Shop in store or online for great Independence Day deals. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Looking for an engagement ring that'll really knock her socks off? You need to be at Genesis Diamonds. It's such a privilege at Genesis Diamonds for us to work with the world's finest designers, to be able to offer brands like Tacori and Veragio, and we're excited to be able to give you something really Genesis Vice President David Cooper, the craftsmanship, the detail, the quality, the individuality is bar none better than anything else. Genesis has been selected as an exclusive provider for every top designer from names to choose from. And if that's not enough, they can create something that's truly custom crafted, literally anything you can imagine. We have the capabilities to realize any dream you have. Things that other stores may call new. We've been doing it for 3, 4, and 5 years already. So don't settle for a mediocre style design. You deserve.
accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I have the perfect place for all you round ballers out there. If you want to improve your game, you want to become a better shooter, Shoot 360 Memphis is the place for you. They've been around now for a while in Collierville, and they are about to open up their new store in Cordova. You can become a member at either one or both locations, and now they're transitioning to monthly memberships. From preps to pros, this is about as cool a place as you'll ever see. If you are a basketball player looking to perfect your shot, challenge yourself, compete with others, and really learn the proper ways to shoot the basketball using modern analytics. What they do is a revolutionary training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with expert coaching to improve shooting skills. The facility is equipped with advanced shooting machines that provide real-time feedback on shooting accuracy, and most importantly, arc in depth. Players can track their progress and analyze their performance. Again, currently in Collierville and coming soon to Cordova. So take advantage of it right now with the new transition to monthly memberships. Call them, 901-316-5500. Set up a tour of the facility or go online to register and sign up at Shoot 360 Memphis. It's where the preps and the pros go to get their shot on. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Welcome back here in the Family Leisure Studios. Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. No Greg Gaston today. Got a text on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. Says, what about the U.S. Reed shot when he played for Arkansas when they beat Louisville in the 81 NCAA tournament? Any of these famous shots that have been played over and over again, I guess, again, you might as well jump on board and see where this goes. Can't hurt. If you lose, you lose. Okay, so what? But if you win, maybe you can get some money out of it. I don't know. Again, who does it all apply to? A lot of these guys that are jumping in on this lawsuit are, again, they don't have one of those shots. They don't have one of those moments that has been played over and over again. But they played an NCAA tournament, whatever. They think that might qualify them for some of that money. Then we shall see. Speaking of college basketball on the women's side, Alex Simmons continues to put together a really pretty incredible schedule for this coming season, especially at home. We already knew that they were going to be hosting Tennessee at FedEx Forum on December the 18th. It was announced yesterday that they will also host Louisville at FedEx Forum. That'll be 3 days later on December the 21st. That's the same day that the men will be playing Mississippi State there. So that'll be a doubleheader of some sort. We don't know the game times, but they will both be playing at FedEx Forum that day, December the 21st. Women hosting Louisville, men hosting Mississippi State. Of course, there's still the South Carolina game as well. There's also a home game that is on the schedule for this year. Again, you would think that there's a good chance that would be at FedEx Forum. So they might be playing 3 games at FedEx Forum. Obviously, we know about Tennessee, and Alex Simmons played there. Great program. Not to the level in recent years that they used to be, but still a very good program. South Carolina, of course, the top program there is right now in college basketball. And then Louisville has been a consistently good program that every year NCAA tournament. I think they were a 5 or 6 seed, I believe, this past year. But they are, it wasn't too too many years ago, just a few years ago, they were number 1 seed, I think, a couple of years in a row. So she is putting together one hell of a home schedule. And it's cool that they get these opportunities to play at FedEx Forum. And hopefully people will show up to go down there and support them at FedEx Forum when they play these games.
And not to mention, like last year, like when they went to Tennessee, like they almost pulled up an upset.
Yeah, they played extremely well. Yeah, they took it right down to the wire, had a chance. They went to overtime, I think, didn't they? Yeah, they went to overtime.
I was at the gym watching. I was like, wait, what? We're in this game? Like, okay, let me tune in real quick.
Well, Alex Simmons certainly is not afraid of playing anybody. I mean, that is being proven. If you're playing Tennessee, South Carolina, Louisville, all in the same season, and again, to get all 3 of those at home in 1 year, that's pretty darn cool for fans of that program. They can get out there and see some really good teams coming in, and obviously the men doing the same thing, putting together their program, putting together his schedule with a lot of Power 5 conference teams, because again, the conference has gotten worse and worse and worse. There's just not much there. So to build any sort of resume, to give your fans reason to buy season tickets, you need these types of games to excite people. And Alex Simmons is doing it. Penny's doing it. It's good for them, good for the school, good for everything. And hopefully they can get some of these wins, and for Alex Simmons, continue to try and get that program, build it up, and get it into NCAA tournament level. They continue to believe over there. There's a ton of potential with that women's basketball program. Can she take it to that point of being an NCAA tournament team on a if not yearly basis, but on a regular basis, getting into the NCAA tournament? We shall see. Coming up in hour number 2, a lot of baseball talk. We'll start talking some historic stuff. Keith Wood will join us, who has written a book about the Memphis Red Sox of the Negro Leagues. Some interesting stuff. We'll talk with him about that. Obviously, the Negro Leagues, again, have been in the news a lot here recently with the Rickwood Park game, Willie Mays, their stats becoming official for Major League Baseball. So Keith Wood joins us to start the hour. Then Kerry Miller will join us, and normally joins us on Thursday, but he'll join us on Wednesday this week because of the 4th of July holiday coming up tomorrow. In hour number 3, we've got DeMichael Cole talking Grizzlies. Haven't talked to him since the draft, so we'll get his thoughts on the draft pick, get his thoughts on what could happen still in free agency. That comes your way at 9:05. Fleet Feet, that's the place to go for running gear. You want to make sure you get shoes that are just right for you? Go see the folks at Fleet Feet. Either one of their 2 locations in East Memphis, Laurelwood Shopping Center. In Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, next to Huey's. You can go see them at either one of the 2 locations. They take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and they'll get you fitted in shoes that are just right for you. Plus anything else that you need, they've got you taken care of, whether it be shorts or shirts or hats or socks, whatever. Any of that gear that you need, they can take care of you. Plus advice, answers to your questions. You're just getting into running. You're trying to train for a race, or you're trying to run a half marathon for the first time. How to train for. Listen, these people are all runners. They'll help you. They'll give you some advice. They can answer those questions for you. So go see the folks at Fleet Feet. You can also find them online, fleetfeetmemphis.com. You can find them on social media, keeping up to date with the things they've got going on and things that you can get involved with. And that running community, they are all about it at Fleet Feet. Keith Wood kicks off hour number 2 next. Sports 56 mornings on this day before the 4th of July on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal no quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
When we say that Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar, is cool, we're not just talking about the temperature. Now, it is very cool in Bell Tavern this time of year, but it's also just straight up cool. The atmosphere is cool, the employees are cool, and the customers are cool. Bell Tavern isn't for people that feel compelled to act out whether their team is winning or losing. It's for people that act like grown-ups, cool grown-ups. That means if you go to Bell Tavern, you're cool. Lots of people go to big chain sports bars, but you could be one of the people that goes to Bell Tavern. That's cool.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a lot of volume out here in certain spots, like coming down sections of Austin Peay Highway southbound there, getting up on that ramp onto I-40. It's looking better through the Midtown area. We've already had a couple of wrecks there. Traffic's flowing right along 55 northbound up through South Haven, coming in from DeSoto County. Hey, Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversion. HavenlyShowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The second hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you each and every day by James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Looking for that special diamond ring, that special wedding ring, or personally designed wedding set? You need to head over to James Gaddis Jewelers. They are full-service jewelers with two-bench jewelers ready to serve you. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition, so they make sure there's a price point to suit everyone's budget. Perhaps you're looking for that special watch, custom-made jewelry of all types, gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, pendants. So many choices at James Gaddis Jewelers, plus the romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. Layaway and financing is available. You want to sell your gold, silver, and diamonds? James Gaddis will give you a great price on that. Plus, if you need something appraised, James is a certified appraiser. Just head over to James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue, your family's jeweler.
It is hour number 2 of Sports 56 Middays on what's going to be a very hot Wednesday. Temperatures getting up near the 100 mark. My trusty app tells me a high of 99. There is an excessive heat warning. Heat index is up into around 110. So going to be a hot one once again today, the 4th of July holiday. Tomorrow, looking at like it's going to be hot as well, and with a chance of some thunderstorms. Again, this time of year when it's so hot, there always seems to be a chance of some thunderstorms popping up. Although today, minimal chance of any rain. Tomorrow, there's a little bit better chance of rain for the 4th of July holiday. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings here in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, that's where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. We're going to talk a lot of baseball this hour. Later in the hour, Kerry Miller from Bleacher Report will join us as he does each and every week. But right now, we're going to talk a little history, a little Memphis history when it comes to baseball. Keith Wood is a teacher over at Christian Brothers High School. He's also an author. A few years ago, wrote a book about high school basketball in the city of Memphis. And now he has written a book about the Memphis Red Sox, a Negro League's history. And he joins me now here in the Family Leisure Studios. Keith, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Eli. How you doing? Talk about this heat. Eli, if we were in the Negro Leagues, they're wearing flannels.
Oh, gosh.
What would it be like for tomorrow's July 4th doubleheader to walk out to Martin Stadium in a flannel in 100-degree heat, Eli? What do you think?
I don't even understand how that could have been possible, how they could have played in this
I
heat.
own an Ebbets vintage flannel for the Memphis Red Sox, and I was going to wear it the other day to a signing down on Beale Street at the Withers Museum, and I put it away for the new look Redbirds jersey that sort of was a lot more comfortable than that flannel in a Memphis summer day.
So it was 2-3 years ago that you did the high school basketball book?
3 years ago. It was a book on Larry Finch. Followed his career from Melrose High School as a senior in 68, 69, and then traces his trajectory with the then Memphis State University as a player, and then an assistant coach, and then all the way to when he was fired in 1997.
Why this book? Why'd you want to tackle this topic?
You know what, Eli? When I was teaching at Millington Central High School, I was doing an African-American history class, and one of my colleagues, Zach Kerr, who was the baseball coach at the time, African-American, said, "What do you know about the Negro Leagues?" And to be honest, I knew a little bit, maybe Josh Gibson, little Cool Papa Bell, but he opened my eyes to what's out there. And then when I was doing my graduate work at the University of Memphis, there was a dissertation on the Memphis Red Sox, and I sort of piggybacked off of that and did an article on the 1940 ejection of Red Sox owner J.B. Martin when he upset Boss Crump, right? So the political ramifications for an African-American like J.B. Martin to support a Republican at a time when Memphis in the 1930s and 40s was Yellow Dog Democrat, right? And so Boss Crump would be your big fan unless, of course, you stepped across the line. And so Boss Crump said, "You're out of here," and actually forced J.B. Martin on the Great Migration up to Chicago. Now, what's interesting in that article is when Crump kicks Martin out of town, All right, he ends up going to Chicago and purchases the Chicago American Giants, the team made famous by Rube Foster in the 1920s, and becoming the president of the Negro American League all the way through its end in the late 1950s, right? So the position of Memphis often gets left out of the story behind the Birmingham Black Barons, right? Rick Wood game last week, Willie Mays. Everybody knows Willie Mays' story, and that was just an incredible moment in baseball history. Then, Buck O'Neil, the Kansas City Monarchs, right? So the Negro League Museum in Kansas City. And for your listeners out there, that's a must-see visit. All right, if you get down to Vine Street, right off the Paseo, you got to check it out, right? Bob Kendrick does a great job. I think, we get lost behind those teams. And we in Memphis, our team started in 1922 and runs all the way through 1959. The Black Barons take 3 years off because of financial reasons, actually bought by a Memphian, Thomas Hayes, right? So when I was thinking about this project, I was like, there's stuff out there. Let me sort of throw it up in the air, reconstruct it into a 9-inning book, which is what I did in this, the book, The Memphis Red Sox, the Negro League's History. And I want to put Memphis back in the narrative, right? I want people to understand that as much as they were the Monarchs, as much as they were the Chicago American Giants or the Homestead Grays, they were the Memphis Red Sox. And I think that's the intent of this piece.
It's interesting, and I mentioned this earlier and I don't remember how many years ago it was. Because I never had heard of the Red Sox. I'd heard of those other teams. Like you said, you hear about all these other teams in the Negro Leagues. And not that I knew a bunch about the Negro Leagues, but these were the things I heard. And then it was when Charlie Pride was coming here to perform. I'm pretty sure it was the Martin Luther King Day game, and he was performing at halftime. And he came on the show. And when I was doing my research, I saw that he had played baseball. And I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, wait. He played for the Memphis Red Sox. Like, who the hell are the Memphis Red Sox? And that's when I found out about the Memphis Red Sox, that they ever existed, was because of Charlie Pride having played here. So it is. I mean, it's kind of a thing that gets completely looked over. It seems like even here in Memphis, the people don't know a lot about the Red Sox.
Right. So there actually is in the last chapter of the book, I talk about Charlie Pride, his time with the Memphis Red Sox, and Charlie comes in the 1950s. Post, and I'm going to refer to as reintegration. All right, blacks played professional baseball. All right, Bud Fowler's actually a guy, Higgins from Memphis that plays with Syracuse in the International League. And then when the color line is redrawn, he ends up coming back to Memphis as a barber. But with that being said, there's a lot of stories, and Charlie Pride. Thankful that he's able to get that story out there and open that up. And I'm hoping this does the same thing. In the 1990s, Stephen Ross over at the University of Memphis put together a great documentary. It's called Blue City Black Diamonds. And man, I'll tell you what, there were hundreds of hours of interviews with Red Sox players in the 90s who were later in their life, right? They were in the winter of their lives, sharing their story. There was a little bit of a renaissance going on in the 1990s, probably when we started hearing more about Cool Papa Bell, Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige reemerged on the scene, right? So it was a great time. But for me, as a historian, to be able to go to the U of M, to go into the archives, right? And just listen to how much fun, how much joy these guys had. And I'm like, no one knows about them. We've got to get this story out there.
Yeah, it's really cool, I think, to have a book like this and get that story out there. I was asking before, and this had nothing to do necessarily with the book, but when Willie Mays died and there was all the talk and everything else, and as you said, the Rickwood Park game, it was awesome. I'm glad Major League Baseball chose to do that, and the timing of it ended up being just almost amazing. That somebody had dug up the story from a GQ article in 2010 where he was talking about facing Satchel Paige. And he said it happened in Memphis. And he said it might have been 1948. That was what his guess was. He didn't know for sure. And he talked about Satchel Paige striking him out after he had hit a double off of him. And Satchel told the third baseman, hey, tell me when the little kid comes back up again. And then he walked up to the halfway to the plate and said, I'm going to throw you 3 fastballs. And then he strikes him out. But Why would that have happened in Memphis?
Right. So I think what you're talking about is after Jackie Robinson reintegrates baseball, right? There's these Negro League stadiums. And in fact, the Martin brothers, who are an all-black family of doctors, all four of them graduated from Meharry at TSU. And what they would do is they would bring back players like Jackie Robinson would have the Jackie Robinson All-Stars, the Roy Campanella All-Stars, right? Satchel Paige would have his All-Stars. And they would then bring these teams to Negro League Stadium. So they're up in Kansas City. They're down in Rickwood in Birmingham. They're at Martin Stadium in Memphis. And they would pack the place out. In fact, if you go down to the Withers Museum, Eli, and I suggest you do this and your listeners, head down to Beale Street. Check out the Withers Museum. In their pictures in the museum is a picture of a clean-cut, bright-skinned brother wearing a white suit, and that's Larry Brown. Larry Brown was probably the most iconic Memphis Red Sox player ever to don the flannels for the Red Sox. And he ends up being a coach at the end of his career, and he's kneeling next to Jackie Robinson. That's at one of those games. And he would come in looking clean, and it was just a chance for the black community to come out and support these guys that were now playing Major League Baseball. And man, what an opportunity for Memphians. And here's the key. When Black Memphis came out to these games, they came dressed to the nines, right? And I mean, they were looking clean, like they had just come out of church. And in fact, one of the things I learned the other day when I was down at the Withers Museum is that Ernest Withers, the photographer of Memphis, right? You've got the Hooks family and the Withers family. He would go to games. And because black families would dress so well, he'd take their pictures. His wife would go home, develop them, put them in the oven, heat them, bring them back by the ninth inning, and sell them to black families, right? These are stories that we need to get out there, that need to be told about the pride that the community had in the Red Sox, in Martin Stadium, which today would be Danny Thomas and Crump. Back in the day, it would have been Iowa and Wellington. For those of us that know high school sports, it's in the backyard of BTW. You come out of Blair T. Hunt Gymnasium, go across the tracks, and there it is, Martin Stadium.
Okay, I was going to ask you where Martin Stadium was actually located back in the day. Talking with Keith Wood, author of the book, The Memphis Red Sox, A Negro League's History. So how long was that, when was that stadium knocked down? Like, what happened to the stadium? So
this is a great story. So, and it's sad. It's not really great, but it's more sad than anything else. J.B. Martin gets run out of town in 1940. His older brother, W.S. Martin, runs the team from 1940 to like 1953 or 54 when he passes away. When he passes away, it sort of spells the end. I mean, Jackie Robinson has already reintegrated Major League Baseball, and there are, the players, the caliber player in the Negro Leagues by the mid-1950s is really minor league, right? And so with that being said, the youngest brother, B.B. Martin, who had been the general manager for years and really is a single dude, more about living the lifestyle, the ladies, he enjoys it. He just doesn't do a good job on the business side. And in 1959, the Red Sox, they're not putting many people in the stadium. So BB decides to barnstorm the team, and then he sells the team to a distribution company. And they just want the land because in South Memphis, you're close to railroads. All right, they can get their trucks out on the road. And so really where Martin Stadium once stood is a trucking and distribution center. There is a plaque, historical plaque. But when you read the articles that talk about what it was like in 1959, the company that bought the stadium paid like $2,000 or $3,000 for the land. It cost the Martin brothers $25,000 to build the stadium in 1945. Wow. Right? So you're talking somewhere around $750,000 to $1 million in today's money. And it cost the trucking company more money to tear it down. Now, Eli, I want you to think for a second for my Memphis historians out there. What happened to Russ Wood in the spring of 1960?
Burnt down.
Martin Stadium was still standing. So why don't you ask me the question of, because I'm thinking through this, why didn't the Chicks seek out BB Martin or this distribution company that just have the stadium sitting.
So
on
it
a
was
piece of land.
so it was just sitting there empty.
It was just sitting there empty, and I think that speaks to why none of us know about this. It's the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
Right? It's that part of the story that if we didn't live on that side of the tracks, we just didn't know. And it's a shame because maybe that stadium could have been salvaged, right?
Yeah.
There's like Hamtramck Stadium up in Detroit. They've redone that. There's a stadium, Hemrick Stadium in New Jersey, where the Newark Eagles played. They've redone that. In this period, this almost second renaissance of Negro League baseball, you're seeing a lot of stadiums that are being refurbished and brought back to life from the Negro Leagues because people are recognizing that the Negro Leagues were Major League.
Yeah, no doubt. And I when they made the decision with the statistics, I said, why wouldn't they be? I mean, there's other leagues that their statistics are Major League stats. Why? It's just somebody making a random decision like, yeah, that league is and this league isn't. So certainly the Negro Leagues. So who were the most prominent players, like stat-wise, for the Red Sox?
All right, so let's go there. Let's hit the who's in the Hall of Fame. Charlie Pride, Country Music Hall of Fame, most well-known probably. Hall of Famers that came through Memphis. Buck O'Neil, his first Major League season was with the Memphis Red Sox, and then the second year he goes to Kansas City. History's then written for him with the Monarchs, and he becomes the center of Negro League baseball, right? Ruby Foster's little brother, Willie Foster. Willie Foster is a great pitcher. His brother's like, you're not ready for the big time. Sends him to Memphis when we're in the Negro Southern League. And in fact, when Rube calls him back, Willie's like, nah, I'm not going. I'm staying here. He ends up going because at the time the owner was R.S. Lewis. Have you heard the name? The Lewis Funeral Company, funeral home. It's that family. R.S. Lewis was the first owner of the Memphis Red Sox, who then sold them in 29 following the flood, the Mississippi River Valley. Now, let's go back to all-time players. I do a section, one of my chapters covers 3 of my favorite players. And so the first one is Larry Brown. All right, Larry Brown started playing professional baseball at 14.
Wow.
For the Knoxville Giants, right? Ends up in Memphis in the 1920s, gets brought to, Rube Foster brings him to Chicago, wins a Negro League World Series against the Atlanta Bacharachs. Let's talk about how good he is. Because people are like, well, Negro Leaguers weren't as good as white baseball players. I got a story for you. Here you go. You might have heard of the name Ty Cobb. Ring a bell?
Yeah.
A little bit of a player, right?
Pretty good.
Right? So most players, because remember, before the reserve clause gets broken, even in Major League Baseball, the white guys aren't making that much money. Ty Cobb is down in Cuba. So is Larry Brown. Because in Cuba, there's no color line. They're playing against each other. So now they're head up, right? Who's the best? Well, Larry Brown is a catcher. He's about 5'90", 190, 200. He's stout. Like, he's a solid catcher. And they say he threw 2 balls to second base. One was at your knees. The other one was at his shins. Never took off his face mask. He would catch any pop ball. Because, when you're little and you're catching, what's the first rule they teach you?
Get rid of the mask.
Pop that mask, right? So here he is, right? And he said when the foul ball goes up, it's going to take a figure 8. You talk to any Negro Leaguer, he never dropped a foul ball, ever. Like, they said he was the best defensive catcher that they've ever seen. Now, down in Cuba, Ty Cobb is on base. Larry Brown cuts down Ty Cobb 5 consecutive times.
Really?
Now, I was like, so this is an interesting story. I'm like, well, a lot of these stories are fabricated. The older guys, like your fishing story with your grandfather, right? When you caught the fish, you might have been about this big. 30 years later, he's hanging it on the wall, right? So I chased the story. In the Detroit newspapers, the owner of the Tigers and the manager are like, okay, bring this guy up. This guy, because Larry Brown's father is, as his family says, European, right? His mother's black, and so he's very bright-skinned, and he speaks Spanish. We'll pass him off as a Cuban. And not only was that story in Detroit, Pittsburgh, right, where the Pittsburgh Courier is, they carry the story too. Wow. So this is legitimate. This guy has the tools. But because of Kennesaw Landis, he's on the other side of the color line, right? And so after the Black Sox scandal of the 20s, Mountain Kennesaw Landis comes in as commissioner of baseball. So he's sitting on the other side. Now, when Larry Brown, right, he appreciates the love from Cobb, but he goes, hell, I can't go play. Everybody knows I'm black, right? Now, that's to me, tells us how good Larry Brown was, right? Other guys, I need to throw some, you asked for other players. Verdell Lefty Mathis, right? He is probably the best pitcher, I think, in the Red Sox organization. Here's a good one for you. Who's the first black major league player to reintegrate baseball with the Brooklyn Dodgers? First pitcher.
First pitcher?
First pitcher. Now, you know Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. It's going to be a Memphis Red Sox. Dan Bankhead.
Okay.
Now, Dan Bankhead gets called up, right? And so in Memphis, Branch Rickey comes down to get Bankhead. Verdell Mathis is a better pitcher. But here's the problem. Lefty had to have elbow surgery, what we call Tommy John.
Wow.
Right? So here's a good Memphis story to put you into perspective. We've got the Mayo Clinic in Memphis. Could Verdell Mathis, as a black man, have surgery at the Mayo Clinic in 1945-46? And the answer is
no.
No. One of the white doctors goes, you know what, Verdell, I want to do the surgery. You know I can't do it at the Mayo Clinic. Grabs some tools, right? Heads over to Collins Chapel Hospital, which is the black hospital in North Memphis, owned by W.S. Martin, funded by Boss Crump. This is crazy. Welcome to Memphis, right? And so the doctor does the surgery. How long do you usually get on Tommy John surgery, Eli?
Well, nowadays it's probably a year.
Right. So Verdell Mathis has a surgery in a hospital that's not up to standards, not up to 1946 standards. And then he's pitching a month and a half later. Because the Martins, although they were great dudes, ran continuously. One of the great players that played for the Red Sox was Double Duty Ratcliffe, and he called the Martin brothers the cheapest sons of a bitches he's ever met. So it's classic Double Duty. And, you know, if I'm going to put Double Duty on as a Red Sox, Double Duty played as a catcher and pitcher in 38 when the Red Sox won the Negro American League Championship.
Wow.
Right? They defeated the Atlanta Black Crackers for the championship. And there's a great team no one knows about. In fact, right now, we're in conversations with the Memphis Redbirds to have them hoist the banner for the Negro League American Championship in 38. Because, you know, the St. Louis Cardinals, they've got the Stars.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Braves have the Atlanta Black Crackers. Interesting name in and of itself, right? Those major league teams, especially with Atlanta having lost to Memphis in 38, they're not raising the banner. So who else should do it but the Memphis Birds, right?
That's I mean, again, just amazing history. So where can folks find the book?
Well, you can find it at Novel. You can find it at Oxbow. You can find it at the Withers Museum down on Beale Street. Truly excited about having that book at the Withers Museum, because when you go in to get a copy of the Red Sox book, you'll get to see history come alive. And they've got an entire section of the museum dedicated to the Memphis Red Sox. And I got to be honest, I'm very thankful to Connor Scanlon at the Withers Museum. At least a third, if not half of the pictures in the book are Withers pictures.
Do you have any signings or anything coming up?
Well, there's going to be one either in late July or early August at Oxbow. Look for more information on my website, keithbwoodauthor.com. Awesome. And for more information on when that's going to be.
That's awesome stuff, man. This is great. This is great stuff. These stories are amazing, and again, I'm glad that this story is getting out. As I said, it's just for people to understand what the Red Sox were and how big of a part of the city they were, and the history of this city they were.
Yeah, and the Redbirds will be honoring the Red Sox in August, and I'm not sure whether they're doing a weekend series where they'll don the flannels, not really flannels, right, of the Red Sox. I'm sporting a lid today that is looks just like the Red Sox hat. Now, I have to be honest. Now, it looks like Ole Miss.
It does look like an Ole Miss
hat. So, for my Ole Miss fans out there, they'll feel good wearing that. From a Mississippi State fans, you just have to explain to folks that you're wearing a Memphis Red Sox hat.
It looks exactly like an Ole Miss hat. Keith, thank you so much for coming in, man. That's all awesome stuff. Appreciate
you, Eli. Thanks for having me on.
That's Keith Wood. Again, the book is The Memphis Red Sox, A Negro League's History. We'll talk Major League Baseball when we come back with Kerry Miller from Bleacher Report here on Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like you heard about a July 4th sale. It's a great chance to red, white, and do that job you've been putting on. Like an oil change with full synthetic motor oil. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for just $34.99. Save on oil, wash and wax, and more this weekend at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not if you call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then, Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 91524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Don't miss the Independence Day sale at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Take advantage of incredible deals like 20% off all used clubs, Orange Dot apparel starting at $29.99, and all closeout shoes and bags get an extra 20% off. Shop in store or online for great Independence Day deals. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Great barbecue, you think Memphis. And when you think Memphis barbecue, you think Corky's. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. They've been serving up that delicious slow smoke barbecue for 4 decades, and they've been catering the entire time. So if you have an event coming up, no matter how small, how large, make sure to contact Corky's and have them cater that event. 4 locations: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Delicious ribs, and that queue is outstanding. Love the barbecue nachos and the cheese and sausage plate. They also have an award-winning catfish plate, tamales, even burgers, and amazing desserts. You can reserve their private party room as well. You got a little get-together coming up, maybe a birthday party or an anniversary or a family reunion. You can have it at their private party room at the Cordova or the Olive Branch location. Just contact them for information. You can head over for lunch. There's a lunch special every single day. You can add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase an entree. And party packs start at just $7.49. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A few wrecks still in their clearing stages out here. Hadn't been that bad, really, on all the major inbound routes. However, there is lots of radar out here, and you're going to see a lot more of that over the next 24, 48 hours as it continues to build in the last few minutes. 40 east across the Hernando de Soto Bridge coming over from West Memphis, and also inbound on 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. 8:31 here at the Family Leisure Studios. Thank you again to Keith Wood coming in. The book, The Memphis Red Sox, a Negro Leagues history that you could check out for you history buffs, baseball buffs, or just want to learn about the a little bit more about the city of Memphis and a big part of its history, check out that book from Keith Wood. Again, the Memphis Red Sox, a Negro Leagues Histories. Well, from the Negro Leagues, we go to Major League Baseball in current day as we talk with Kerry Miller.
It's time to talk some baseball. Joining Greg and Eli is Kerry Miller from the Bleacher Report. Here's Kerry with Greg and Eli.
He normally joins us on Thursday, but because of the holiday tomorrow, he was nice enough to join us today. Kerry Miller from the Bleacher Report. You can follow on Twitter at Carrance James. Kerry, how are you, sir?
Hey, Eli, I'm doing well. Good to chat with you.
Good to chat with you as always. So, Shohei Ohtani did it again last night. Gets another home run. He's got 27, but makes it official, which everybody believed, not going to participate in the home run derby because of his elbow rehab. But boy, oh boy, he just continued. You know, it's funny. I don't know if you're on FanDuel or not. If you're, I don't. Do you have legalized sports betting?
I do in Virginia. It is for the best that I stay away from it. I won't say I got into any trouble, but try to avoid it.
So FanDuel does on Tuesdays, they do Dinger Tuesdays, and you can bet, whoever you bet to hit a home run, you'll get a $5 bonus bet. Even if you win or lose the bet, you get a $5 bonus bet for every home run hit in their game. Mm-hmm. Well, every Tuesday, it's easy. I might as well take the win. So I bet on Shohei Ohtani, and he did it. He came through for me again last night. He is homered on the last 4 Tuesdays. So he is a dinger. For you bettors out there, just get on. He's a Tuesday automatic that Shohei Ohtani is going to hit a home run. But it sucks that he won't be in the home run derby. He's only done it once, and they just changed the rules for the home run derby, which are very confusing again. But it would be nice, just like the slam dunk contest in the NBA, if we could get all of these stars participating.
Yeah, I feel like, first of all, they change the rules just a little bit every year, so we have to spend the first half of the first round of every year of the Derby trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But, yeah, it's a shame. I mean, we already know Aaron Judge isn't doing it. We kind of assumed Shohei wouldn't do it. Now, Bryce Harper's on the IL. Got to figure he's not going to do it. Soto's probably not going to do it. Giancarlo Stanton's probably not going to do it. I feel like everybody will do it once if they're a good enough slugger, like at some point in their career. Yeah. So it's almost like it's more of a 24-year-old exhibition than a big time star. But I think Barry Bonds did it like 6 or 7. He only won once, I believe, but he did it like 6 or 7 times in his career. And we assume Pete Alonso is going to do it because he always does. I love that we can count on the polar bear to be in there. I joked about this in putting together the dream home run derby field. I think we need to convince him that he can catch Barry Bonds for the all-time home run record if we combine their regular season and home run derby home runs, because he's already over 400 for his career if we count that way.
It's funny because I with the rules, like I feel like I had just kind of figured out the old rules exactly how it worked, and then they go and they completely change them, and now I have no idea what this is, like the bonus outs and all this other stuff. Like, I don't even know for sure how this all works, but I'll figure it out, I guess, when the home run derby comes around. If you had to put together like what's the all-time home run derby? Like if you all of the players from all of baseball history, like who would be your field for the all-time ultimate home run derby? I
think Griffey's got to be the first choice because he's almost synonymous with the derby. Just became what he is because of, I think he won 3 times and everybody loved watching him. So Griffey for sure. I mean, are we talking like guys who were great in the dirt? Like is Josh Hamilton a no-brainer? Or
it's just you get to choose, say 8 baseball players all time and put them in a home run derby. They're all in their prime together. And you get to make that. So you could have Babe Ruth versus Barry Bonds, but you can however you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, just give me the top 8 all-time home run leaders, basically. I mean, have Babe Ruth in there, Barry Bonds. Great to have Barry Bonds against Willie Mays in a home run derby. Yeah, could we do that somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be so much better of an exhibition than it. I mean, it ends up getting crazy great ratings. Everybody loves to watch it, but I don't know why we just keep tweaking with it. I don't know what was wrong with the 10-out system that we used to have back in the 90s. I mean, not to be an old man shaking my fist at the clouds, but I don't know why we got to change it every single year because it is just confusing.
Would you, in that, you mentioned the top guys, but would there be any current players wouldn't you want to put Aaron Judge in there or maybe Shohei?
Yeah, I think certainly Judge. Just you want the guys who can hit a 500-foot home run, right? Maybe not necessarily the guys who have 700 career home runs, but the guys who are just going to amaze you. So I'd be fine with Josh Hamilton at a point where he's clean and mashing home runs like he did in 2008. That was maybe the most unforgettable Derby round of all time. I think Aaron Judge, a current guy who can just destroy balls. Shohei would be a great one. Don't think anybody else currently would.
Yeah, Mike Trout. Mike Trout
of
doesn't
the
do it for
current
me.
guys. I would love to see both. I think they're not in any way related, but both Cruzes, O'Neal Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz. I'd love to see both of them this year, but I don't. I think thus far the only guy who's said they're going to do it is Gunnar Henderson.
Yes, I think he's the only one that's official as far as that is concerned. What did you think of the finalists for the All-Star voting at each position?
Yeah, I mean it's a glorified fan vote at this point, right? I mean I know it is the fan vote, but it feels like there were a few misses for sure. Like Jarren Duran for the Red Sox is like fourth in all of baseball in wins above replacement, and he wasn't even a finalist among the outfielders. I feel like Boston in general didn't care about the All-Star voting because Devers didn't even come close either for third baseman. But I also feel like that's fine for baseball. Like the fans who are going to vote the most are also the fans who are most likely to actually want to watch the All-Star game. So if it's, if it ends up being, last year it felt like every single Braves player and every single Blue Jays player made the finalists. I think all of the Phillies, maybe minus one, made it to the finalists this year. So whatever. If they pack the vote, great. That's kind of the idea, is to drive interest. But I think Duran in particular was a huge miss because he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, this year it's the Orioles and Phillies. Like their fans clearly came out to vote, and okay, that's fine. Like if your fans are doing it, that's great. Good for you. You and it's not like there's two bad teams or bad players. Like those, they both teams have a lot of guys that probably deserve to be All-Stars.
Yeah, I mean it'd be funny if Oakland amid their sell the team managed to rally enough to get their entire team in the mix. I don't think we ever have to worry about that happening.
That is for sure. The Phillies with their current injuries, it doesn't seem to be affecting them that much, but should there be any concern?
Yeah, I mean, I was putting together a top 10 offenses of the season thus far, and the Phillies were, I think, fourth on that list, but in their current state, right? No Harper, no Schwarber, no Real Muto, and they were without Turner for a while, although Edmundo Sosa more than carried the weight while Turner was out. But yeah, it doesn't feel like right now they're that strong. Granted, they did just win back-to-back games against the Cubs and the Marlins, but it doesn't feel like stacking them up against the Dodgers, Yankees, and Orioles. They're nowhere close to those offenses right now. But it sounds like Harper and Schwarber aren't going to be out that long. Real Muto should be back by the end of July, so they certainly have enough of a cushion that you don't think they're going to need to, go all in at the trade deadline by any means. I think they're going to want to add one outfielder, and I know, for a couple months now we've been saying it should be Luis Robert from the White Sox. Whoever it is, if they can get another hitter who can play center field and then they get those three guys back, they're going to be just fine for October.
Speaking of just fine for October, it feels like this. We've talked a lot about the Astros. It feels like it's just a matter of time now before they pass Seattle.
Yeah, only 3 games back now. Both the Astros and the Mets makes it feel like why did we even ever look at the standings in the first 3 months of the season? It's pointless. But yeah, they're right there now. They've been hot. For a while we were talking about could they trade Alex Bregman or Justin Verlander, they're two impending free agents, and now it's more like, all right, well, which starting pitchers are they going to add? Because they're clearly going to be buyers. They're right there. They're, 2 games behind the Red Sox, 2.5, something like that for the last wild card spot, and Kansas City is one of those other wild card teams that probably going to fade. It does feel like it's just a matter of time before the Astros are, whether it's passing the Mariners or getting into a wild card spot, being in the playoff field in some way, shape, or form.
The Orioles have moved into first place in the AL East. As they stand right now, do you like the Orioles or Yankees more?
Yeah, I definitely prefer the Orioles lineup. I feel like the Yankees are kind of a stars and studs, right? Where it's Judge and Soto, and then it's God knows what you're getting after that. I don't think, aside from Stanton, who's currently on the IL, they have another top 15 among plate appearances who has a better than 100 OPS plus. They don't have an above average player aside from Judge and Soto. So I'll take Baltimore's 9 over New York's 9 for sure. You want to talk about pitching, though, then it gets very concerning. Because Corbin Burns is awesome. I love Grayson Rodriguez, but then it gets really questionable really quickly. So can they add a star pitcher ahead of the deadline? And, I had an outrageous trade proposals thing that published earlier this week. I had them going out and getting Max Scherzer with the Rangers starting to fade. They're 7 games below 500. Could they be sellers? If so, does Baltimore make that move? They got to do something big because they've lost 4 guys to Tommy John surgery in the past month.
Yeah, you mentioned the Rangers. I was looking at that too. I was trying to figure out what teams could. And you look at the AL West, and other than the Mariners and Astros, the rest of the division just could turn into sellers and just let those two walk away with that division. Yeah,
and I don't know how much the Rangers would actually sell. I feel like every hitter on their roster is under team control for another 3 or 4 years. So it's really just Andrew Heaney, Max Scherzer, a couple relief pitchers maybe. If they were to put Kirby Yates, their closer, on the market, that would be a pretty big one. Maybe the best closer out there this year. But they're not in a position to have a fire sale by any means. And I don't think they would anyway after winning the World Series just 9 months ago, whatever that was. But yeah, I think the AL West is way worse than we thought it would be before the season began. I mean, we expected the A's to be terrible and didn't think the Angels were going to be great. But man, after the way last season ended with Seattle, Houston, and Texas coming literally down to the last game of the season, it's very disappointing what that division has become.
With Toronto, who could they move at the deadline?
Everyone, man. If they wanted to, with how weak this year's trade block is, they could go nuts. Now, they get their rental guys. The 2 big ones, I think, are Danny Jansen, the catcher, and Yusei Kikuchi, left-handed pitcher, who's really been impressive this season. Outside of maybe Jack Flaherty from Detroit, probably the biggest 2-month rental guy. But if they decide to burn it all down, right? Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Chris Bassett, and Jordan Romano they have 1 year of team control beyond this season. So if they decide to go the route of the Reds 2 years ago when they traded away Luis Castillo and Tyler Mahle, if they decide to do what I think it was the Rangers 3 years ago when they got rid of Kyle Gibson and all that, you saw it helps. You embrace the muck for a year or two, but then you're in better shape if you burn it down a year ahead of schedule.
If they do move Guerrero, who do you think would be the most likely landing spot?
I think it's absolutely the Houston Astros because their first base situation has been a total disaster all season long. And man, if they get him, that's just the Astros being the Astros, man. It feels like they're cheating again if they get Vlad Jr. But I feel like if he's on the move, they're going to be most motivated to get him. But they do not have. They might have the worst farm system right now. They don't have a whole lot to offer in terms of top 100 prospects. So they'd have to do something creative. One of those outrageous trade proposals that I had, which involved the Houston getting Vlad Jr., was Christian Javier going to the Blue Jays, who's he just had Tommy John surgery. He's out for the rest of this season and next season, but he's under team control through 2027. So they could get, an ace-level pitcher for 2 years in the future when they're theoretically in the picture again. I think he could be an interesting trade chip.
Did you have any trades for the Cardinals?
Did I? I don't think I did. I mean, I feel like they're logically probably going to try and get a starting pitcher, but I didn't have anything crazy with them. I feel like they're kind of in good shape as they are. They were 15 and 24 at one point, and playing like 10 games above 500 since then, right in the wild card picture. So I think they're in good shape. Yeah, they're second place pretty easily now. They're 4 games ahead of the Pirates, who are in third place in that division, and they're only 6 games behind the Brewers. So certainly they're in a good position as far as that goes in the wild card race, everything else as far as that is concerned. He is Kerry Miller, covers Major League Baseball for the Bleacher Report. You can follow him on Twitter at Carrance James. Kerry, thank you again for adjusting your schedule this week, and we'll get back into normal schedule on Thursday of next week. We certainly appreciate it. Hey, sounds great. Good talking with you. All right, thank you. Kerry Miller joining us from Bleacher Report. Back to wrap up hour number 2, the Caitlin Clark effect continuing. We'll talk about that on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Buster's Butcher at 199 South Highland Street in Memphis. We're a full-service butcher shop offering a curated selection of quality meats, cheeses, prepared foods, and more. At Buster's, our skilled butchers are also experienced chefs. They'll be delighted to guide you on selecting, preparing, and cooking our fine selection of products. We're like nothing else you can find in Memphis. Learn more at bustersbutcher.com and come see why every cut counts at Buster's Butcher.
All 650 acquisition fee, Telluride RG 510849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey Jeff, I hear you've got the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event going on right now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Give me some scoop.
Randy, the scoop is I'm ready to put you in a new Kia for less. 2024 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month. $34.99 do it signing. How about a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month? $39.99 do it signing, 24-month lease.
Plus 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9. And every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or online anytime. KiaMountMoriah.com.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
If you own a business, you know Luttrell Belting keeps you moving. Luttrell has cost-effective belts, conveyor components, and 24/7 on-site service to keep you operating smoothly. Text are just a phone call away at 800-441-8946 or online at LuttrellBelting.com. Luttrell's Memphis plant stocks belting in nearly every size and finish, and if they don't have it, they'll make it. From ordering to selection, fabrication, and installation, your Luttrell sales rep is there for you. Luttrell Belting keeps you moving.
It's time to ride during the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event. Check out 43 MPG Highway in a new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,935 or $249 a month. Need extra room for your vacation? Let Gossett make it happen with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. $30,490 or $449 per month. And go for miles and miles with 420 total range in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. $599 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi. 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it and Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, 500 loyalty rebate. Mirage Outlander 84 months. Mirage RHO 10934. MSRP 18435. Outlander RZO 55981. MSRP 31490. PHEV RZO 35245. MSRP 48065. Includes 1095 acquisition fee. Sale price includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes processing fee of $695. Lease terms includes processing fee of $695. 15 cents per mile excess wear and tear. With approved credit, see dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 8:52 here in the Family Leisure Studios. So now Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are going to be teammates in the WNBA All-Star Game, which will be a team of WNBA All-Stars versus Team USA for the Olympics. And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both make the team. So I'm sure that'll create a lot of excitement to see them two on the same team together and how they interact on the court, everything else. But this is amazing. So Caitlin Clark was the leading vote getter for the WNBA All-Star Game. That is not a surprise. She got 700,735 votes. Aaliyah Boston was second, 618,000. Reese ended up fifth, 381,000 votes. Zach, do you have any idea how many votes last year's leading vote getter got for the WNBA All-Star Game?
And how many votes Caitlin had?
Caitlin got just over 700,000.
700,000? Can I say about 100,000?
That's very good. Asia Wilson last year got 95,860 as the leading vote getter. You tell me Caitlin Clark has created some interest, some excitement around the league? She got more than 7 times the vote. I don't even know where. I didn't look. I don't even know where 95,000 this year would rank you. It wouldn't be top 10. Reese was fifth with 381,000. I mean, it's amazing the effect she's had. On last night, the Fever played the Aces in Las Vegas. So that was Asia Wilson, last year's leading vote getter, versus Caitlin Clark, this year's leading vote getter. And the Aces killed them. But it drew 20,366 people at T-Mobile Arena. It's the largest regular season crowd in the WNBA since 1999. So again, this isn't wearing off. Like, that's the thing, too. It's like, it's not wearing off. Again, when she goes to these cities, people just come flocking out to see her. Her matchup with Diana Taurasi over the weekend averaged 1.9 million viewers on ESPN. It is the second biggest audience for an ESPN game for the WNBA all time. The only one that drew more viewers, again, in the history of the WNBA on ESPN, was her game against Chicago earlier this year. So she has the 2 highest rated games ever on ESPN for the WNBA. She's drawing the largest crowds. She went 7 times the votes in all-star voting of last year's leading vote getter. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing what she does and how many eyeballs she draws. People just want to see her play. And again, that for the WNBA All-Star Game, the WNBA as a whole has been gifted not just Clark, but also the rivalry with Reese. And now for the WNBA All-Star Game to have those two as teammates, like that's the perfect storyline. Both of them as teammates. The fact that she was left off of Team USA, they're playing against Team USA, and Angel Reese is now her teammate. Like it's like the perfect storylines for the WNBA All-Star Game. I don't know how many people normally watch the WNBA All-Star Game. I'll make a bold prediction right now. This year's WNBA All-Star Game will be the most watched in history.
So, Team USA playing the Fever?
No, they play the WNBA All-Stars. So that they have a team of WNBA All-Stars who aren't a part of Team USA that will play Team USA.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense now.
It's July 20th, I believe. But I'll make a very bold prediction to say this year's WNBA All-Star Game most watched ever. I don't know what channel it's on. I don't know if it's ESPN or ABC, but I'm going to guess there's a good chance it at least doubles the most viewers it's ever had in the past. Because everyone wants to see what Caitlin does against Team USA, because is she mad that she was left off? And then what's it going to be like with her and Angel as teammates? Like, is she going to pass Angel the ball? Like, or is she not going to pass Angel the ball? Like, there's all these perfect storylines for it. And again, it's just the fact that, hell, they could put Caitlin Clark out there just shooting three-pointers, and more people will watch it than probably normal WNBA All-Star games. That wraps up hour number 2. What's that?
No, I'm just interested.
Coming up in hour number 3, DeMichael Cole joins us to talk Grizzlies, talk about the draft picks, talk about free agency, which has been obviously very quiet so far for the Grizzlies. We'll get into that with DeMichael Cole when we come back for hour number 3. Sports 56 Mornings live in the Family Leisure Studios. This hour has been brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
We're in the break room at a traditional jewelry store here. Hey, Mark, I know it's our job here to try and sell every piece of jewelry, but don't sell this ring. I'm going to try to use my employee discount to buy it for my wife.
Okay, but you know you can get a better deal at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds? Are you crazy? Better not let the boss hear it.
All I'm saying is I got a pair of diamond set earrings there for my wife and paid a lot less than what we charge here, even after my employee discount.
Wow.
You never know who you'll see shopping at Genesis Diamonds with no middleman pricing on the best selection of diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets. It's a no-brainer.
I admire your dedication to our jewelry store and not going to Genesis. I know the boss really appreciates your loyalty.
It's just the right thing to do, man.
And it's nice your wife won't mind getting a smaller diamond.
On second thought, can you cover me while I take a break? Genesis Diamonds, the smart alternative to old-fashioned jewelry shopping. With more selection, lower prices, higher quality, stronger warranties, and zero pressure. At Poplar and Perkins Extended.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called God Hopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I got him on the line, Jason, the main man Marshall, and he's ready to rock and gossip Volkswagen on the pike.
Randy, it's vacation time, so take the road wherever it leads you with 42 miles per gallon on the highway in a brand new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month.
That's an awesome deal at Gossip Volkswagen on the pike. And Jason, my main man Marshall, everybody in Memphis knows when it comes to a great deal, it's all about choices.
Take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or a 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month, plus 0% for 60 months on all new 24 Taos. And you know my motto, make me an offer, because nothing reasonable will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall at Gossip Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, online, gossipvwmemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, T-Dot. Those help trucks around here finishing up a couple of earlier accidents and never got too bad actually on the major inbound routes. There's still a little bit of volume coming up 55 right now through South Haven as you work your way up through South Memphis. In the Midtown area, it's looking better than it was. We had a couple of wrecks earlier. Again, lots of radar the next 24, 48 hours. Please be careful and make sure you got that seatbelt buckled up. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hour 3 of the program is brought to you each and every day by Jenkins Floors and More. They have the new warehouse open up at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. They have other stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting. It is a family-owned and operated business. And if it's variety you're looking for, they have it at Jenkins Floors and More. SPC and WPC vinyls, which are scratch-resistant, waterproof, top of the line. Ceramic and porcelain tiles, hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, plus backsplashes, plantation shutters and blinds, and so much more. And they sell it wholesale. They skip the middleman, going to save you lots of money. Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins started this business 8 years ago in their garage. And because of their quality of work, their attention to detail, and their pricing, they have earned the reputation of being one of the top flooring companies in the area. So for residential and commercial, that means homeowners, contractors out there, do yourself a favor, see what Jenkins Floors and More has to offer, and they will install. They'll do so in unheard of 2-week turnaround. They will come to you, give you a free estimate. Financing is available. They're open Monday through Saturday. Call them, 662-469-9350, or stop by any of their 3 stores, including their new warehouse at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. It's Jenkins Floors and More.
It is indeed hour number 3 of Sports 56 Mornings, and 9:06 the time here in the Family Leisure Studios. Good to have you with us. Family Leisure, that's where family and fun come together. 2120 Witten Road, going to be a really hot Wednesday. Nearing record temperatures. May hit 100, which I believe is the record for today. Going to be really close to that. Heat indexes well above that in the 110 range. So stay hydrated. Try and stay cool out there as best that you can. DeMichael Cole joins us each and every Wednesday to talk Grizzlies basketball. From the Commercial Appeal, the Grizzlies beat writer. You can follow DeMichael on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Unfortunately, we can't play his open today, so we'll just go right to DeMichael. Hey, DeMichael, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Doing fantastic, man. We obviously have not talked to you since the draft last week. Last time we talked to you was the morning of round 1. Zach Edey ends up being the guy. Then they add Jalen Wells and Cam Spencer in round 2 on the next day. So your thoughts of what the Grizzlies did in the draft?
Thought it was solid. They crossed out the boxes that I expected and that, boxes that we said should be crossed off from the standpoint of getting a physical center who's going to be able to give you that optionality. Where when you're playing teams who like to go small and certain players are unplayable, you can go to a Jaren and BC front court. And if you're playing, another type of team where you got DeMontis Sabonis getting 25 rebounds on you, or Jokic tipping the ball at the rim to themselves, now you have a big physical presence, 7'4", 300 pounds, who should help you in those type of matchups. And also has very soft hands and is good at scoring around the rim. So now you're talking about a center who can take advantage of mismatches and be dominant in those scenarios. So I like that addition. And then, of course, with the second round picks, as I was saying for a while, guys, like shooting is right up there with the big need with the Grizzlies. And that's what Jalen Wells and Cam Spencer are all about. I've known that they've been on Jalen Wells for a while. This was a target for the Grizzlies that they identified early, in the draft period, and he's someone they've kept an eye on, and it was no surprise to see them land him. But Cam Spencer, another big time shooter, probably arguably one of the best shooters in college basketball over the last 5 years. Former teammate of Santi Aldama at Loyola, Maryland, so some familiarity there. A solid draft cast, all in all. Nothing that's going to wow you from the standpoint of these guys probably being superstars, but at the same time, guys who should be able to really complement the star players on the Grizzlies.
When it got to number 9, and they didn't trade up, so they're at number 9. Dalton Connect was still on the board. Did you expect it to be Edey at that point?
No, I didn't. I mean, I went into the draft expecting that Edey was high on their list. Did not know if they pulled the trigger at number 9, but they did. And I think there was a report I saw yesterday that the Utah would have taken Edey at 10. I guess that makes me feel, a little bit better about the idea of taking him at 9, because my only thing, I have no problem with the player fit. My only thing was from a value standpoint.
Yep.
It felt like you could have gotten him a little bit lower, but if that report is true, then I think that makes the pick even better.
Since then, the next thing was the decision on Luke Kennard. We talked about it. They could certainly turn down the player option and then try and just bring him back on a different deal. They do turn down the option. Still no news, though, on that new contract agreement. Do you believe it will happen, that Kennard will still be back?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, very likely. I'd be very surprised. I'm willing to say that. I'd be very surprised if Luke Kennard isn't back. All signs still point to that happening. Right now, you're just seeing, one, the market play itself out, and then two, the Grizzlies got to make some marginal moves to kind of make this thing work a little bit.
What kind of contract do you think we're talking about with Kennard?
I think multiple years, but with less AAV, less value per year for Kennard here. Because I think this is a scenario where both sides can win, which is why I felt like this is something that should have been done a while ago. Like when the team option was declined, I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I was more puzzled from the standpoint of why would they do this now, right before free agency, giving other teams, the opportunity. If a team with cap space wanted to say, let's just outbid the Grizzlies for him, you're giving them that opportunity. Whereas you've had the chance to re-sign him because we know that the Grizzlies value him. They've said it. They've shown it. This is a guy they want around. So I was more puzzled with that part of it. But at the same time, it makes a lot of sense where the Grizzlies could say, hey, we can't give you $14.8 million per year. We could give you a little bit less, keep us under the first apron, so we can not be under certain restrictions. And at the same time, instead of you having 1 year of financial security, we can give you 2 to 3 years with a little bit less of money per year. So I'm thinking, 11 to 12 million per year makes a lot of sense on like a 3-year deal. 3 years, 36, I think. But 3 years, 36, for example, right now, I think that still puts you barely above the first apron. So in that case, that's why I said, hey, I think one, they pursue the option of giving him a little bit less per year, and even in some cases that still puts you in the first apron. So two, the next thing is you need to shed some salary, and so you can comfortably be under the first apron and still make minimal moves like. Let's use Zaire Williams or John Conchar, for example, two salaries that are around $6 million per year in this next season, around $6 million this next season. You shed one of those salaries. In theory, you can give Luke Kennard $12 million per year, and you can go out and sign a player for the minimum or use a small chunk of the mid-level exception in order to get that, another center for depth, for example. And you can knock out most of your needs and still be able to stay right under that first apron.
You mentioned the center, and people thought about, yes, along with obviously Edey, maybe another veteran center. The options are dwindling. I mean, most of the centers are coming to agreements elsewhere.
Yeah, I think we've seen Andre Drummond, go off the board. Goga Patate was a nice under-the-radar one for me. How about the Magic bringing back Goga and Mo Wagner? I mean, that was a surprise. But
James Wiseman, that some people wanted, is gone.
Yeah. Yep, James Wiseman is now off the board as well. So I'm looking at the center market. You got to get creative at this point. I think a guy, even like we've seen, even the third level centers are off the board for the most part. I think Alex Lynn has agreed to a deal. Mason Plumlee, Luke Met, Xavier Tillman, Drew Eubanks. Like, all these guys are off the board. But there are a couple, names out there. I know Daniel Tice is one that I mentioned on our Locked On Grizzlies show, and I think there was a report indicating some Grizzlies interest there. I think he's one that makes sense as a potential third center type of option, out there. Another guy who probably makes sense to me, talking third center, a guy like Thomas Bryant, played with this past season, but pre-injury, I think he tore his ACL a couple years ago. Before that, he was a double-double guy. Like, when he played, he offensively, he was really good. Defensively, he wasn't giving you a lot. He could rebound, but there were some weaknesses there. And then a couple other, riskier names with Sean Holmes, JaVale McGee. So there are some names out there that you could still target if that's the ideal role that the Grizzlies are looking for.
With what we've seen from the draft and free agency so far, what Western Conference teams do you think have improved themselves?
I think OKC has improved. I think that Minnesota has slightly improved. The Rob Dillingham move should help them out. They've slightly improved. I think that I honestly don't think that the Clippers have fallen off much.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't think they've fallen off much. I wouldn't say they improved, but Kawhi Leonard always went to another level when Paul George wasn't playing, and Paul George always went to another level when Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing. So, I mean, I don't think it's a big drop off for them. It's a slight one, but not a big drop off.
What about Dallas? Do you think Dallas is better with what they basically brought three guys in to replace three guys? Do you think they're better?
I think Dallas is around the same. Honestly, now you can make the argument for them being better, but the Klay Thompson move, for example. Like here's the thing: at the end of the day, if Luka's passing to Klay Thompson, he's wide open. That's better than some of the other guys.
Derrick Jones Jr. It's better. Yeah. It's much better than Derrick Jones Jr.
It's a lot better. But here's the other thing: Klay Thompson and Steph Curry thrived in Golden State. The reason Golden State was so different from every other NBA team is because those guys constantly moved. Klay Thompson just would run in circles for possessions. Steph Curry running in circles, and defenses just didn't want to put up with it. And that's why, even though they were so, vaunted as shooters and teams knew what they were capable of, they still would generate open looks because of all the screens that Draymond would set off the ball and things like that. No team in the NBA moves off the ball less than the Dallas Mavericks. So he just, while, yes, he's going to an offense where he's probably going to get some good looks, he's going to an offense that's completely different from anything he's played with in the last 10 years. So either Dallas is going to say, hey, we're going to commit to more movement. It's not going to be just Luka or Kyrie dribbling for 15 seconds and then passing to a guy and say, hey, you shoot it. They're going to need, we don't see Dallas setting off-ball screens and things like that for shooters like that. But that's Klay Thompson's career. So from a rhythm standpoint and things like that, they're going to have to do more to kind of incorporate him into the offense. Or I think they're going to minimize his impact. I think if they say, hey, we want Golden State Klay. We want him moving off the ball a lot, and Kyrie and Luka finding him off of that. I think that makes Dallas go up another level. But if they're just playing the same style as last season, where they basically weren't calling a lot of plays, and it's just high pick and roll, Luka, Kyrie, and read and react, then you're not getting Klay Thompson that could score 60 in 3 quarters because. Quite frankly, it'd just be him standing in a corner. You can't score 60 standing in corners. Whereas if you're moving a lot off the ball and you're creating those scoring opportunities for yourself, it's a little different.
What do you think of DeJounte Murray with New Orleans? We'll see what happens with Brandon Ingram, if they hold on to him or what ends up happening. But I really like that because I think they needed a point guard, and it moves McCollum off the ball to back what he was with Damian Lillard. What do you think of Murray in New Orleans?
Yeah, I like it. I think, again, you just hit it at the park. He gets to play on the ball now, which, he didn't get to do as much with the Hawks. But when he did, when Trae Young got hurt for that stretch, he was putting up big assist numbers. So, and now, C.J. McCollum, like you said, gets to move back more comfortably off the ball. We saw that was, kind of an imperfect fit. He was capable of playing on the ball, but he's definitely more scorer than a facilitator. So, now he gets to be more in that role as well. So I think that works out for them. Now they also got to figure out the whole Brandon Ingram thing. Zion and Brandon Ingram just have been an imperfect pair. It's clear that they're siding with Zion in that conversation between those two. So figure out something with Brandon Ingram. But I do have one concern as it comes to them because you lost Najee Marshall and you traded away Dyson Daniels. So now whereas you had a surplus of wing defenders in the past, like they were like Clippers light in a way, where Dyson Daniels could come in and guard you. I remember when Ja made that last second shot, Herb Jones guarded him, but Dyson Daniels was right there, in the shot. Like it was like, oh, they put both the guys in the game to say, hey, both of you will stop Ja Morant from making a shot. It didn't happen, but it was a great idea. So. You lose Dyson Daniels. You lose Najee Marshall. Now, Herb Jones is pretty much your do-it-all wing defender. So if Herb Jones his pinky starts hurting one day, or his ankle isn't feeling okay, you're liable to get torched a little bit. And you're going to need DeJounte Murray to go back to San Antonio Spurs, DeJounte Murray on the defensive end. Atlanta Hawks DeJounte Murray, it wasn't the same. So you're hoping that you're kind of getting that former all-defensive team player that he was, a few seasons back when he was in San Antonio, because Herb Jones, right now, there's a lot more going to be put on his plate on the defensive end.
And how much do you think Denver is hurt with the KCP loss?
Oh, yeah, it takes a toll for sure. Now, I think as long as they got that core four over there, they can minimize it. But that team those players gelled so well together. KCP, he's going to guard the top perimeter option on the wing, and then teams knew not to leave him open on three-pointers because he was going to knock them down. So you talk about, replacing him with Christian Braun, which is what the Denver GM basically said that. And it made sense. Like, yeah, I get it. You got to be able to replace your fourth or fifth starter. But at the same time, Christian Braun, yeah, he shot 38% roughly from three-point range last year, but he had less than one make per game. It's a whole different ballgame when you're talking about Caldwell Pope, who has consistently been one of your better shooters, who's consistently knocked down over, 1.5, 2 3-pointers per game. And in his 2 seasons in Denver, he shot 40% from three-point range. He shot 42%, his first year when they won the title, and he shot 40%, this past season. He played 76 games. So we're talking about availability being a strength. Caldwell Pope is a guy who's never played less than 65 games in an NBA season. So one of the more reliable guys from that standpoint. So you lose the reliability, you lose the shot making, and you lose the defense. Christian Braun's a solid defender. We're going to see how he projects as a three-point shooter. I think they have the potential of covering it up, but I think you definitely take a small step back.
Will you be heading out to Vegas?
No, I'm not. I'm probably not going to be in Vegas this year.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going out there. You're certainly not going to Utah, I assume.
Yeah, no. I went to Utah a couple years ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I went a couple years ago, but no, not this year. No Vegas for me this year.
Who do you expect from this past year's team to play on this? Do you expect Gigi to play much? What do you think Gigi, how he'll be handled in Summer League?
I think Gigi will start off playing, and then they'll game to game it from that after that, because there's still a avenue where they want him to learn how to play better on the ball. Like, as good as he was last season, if you want to nitpick his game, he still was not a very good perimeter passer, which he's going to have to be, at some point. Like, he's going to have to. He only averaged, I think, 1.2 assists last season. His career high is just 4. Like, he didn't have that many double-digit. I mean, not double-digit, but assist games with more than 2 assists. So that's the area where you go into Summer League to see the Grizzlies saying, "Hey, Gigi, not only do we need you to be more efficient, like he shot 43% last season. You need to go in Summer League. You need to shoot around 50%. You're 6'9". We need your efficiency to improve not only as a scorer, but as a playmaker as well."
So it's kind of like the Desmond Bain Summer League from a few years ago. Like this, you go out there,
yep.
And if you're doing your thing and we're good, then we'll just cite you at the end of it.
Yeah, that was the plan for Zaire too. It didn't work out as well.
Yeah, yep.
But that was the plan for him. So yeah, that's kind of like the Grizzlies model. Like, send these guys out and try to work on the uncomfortable facets of their game.
He is DeMichael Cole, covers the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal, joins us each and every Wednesday. Thank you so much, DeMichael. Appreciate it. Have a good 4th of July.
All right, take care, Eli.
DeMichael Cole joining us from the Commercial Appeal. We'll go over that Grizzlies Summer League schedule again when we come back. Went over it earlier in the week, but again, it starts on Monday. In Utah, they're starting on Monday. They've got 4 Summer League games next week. So it is here. Quick. They have not announced the roster yet. Some teams are announcing the rosters. I imagine the Grizzlies maybe announce it today. I don't know exactly when they'll officially announce the roster. We did get the word that DJ Jeffries, as he announced that he would be playing for the Grizzlies. Again, we'll see exactly what other additions there are, but they have not announced that full roster for the Summer League yet. This is Sports 56 Morning, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
Don't miss the Independence Day sale at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Take advantage of incredible deals like 20% off all used clubs, Orange Dot apparel starting at $29.99, and all closeout shoes and bags get an extra 20% off. Shop in store or online for great Independence Day deals. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's going strong at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We Gossett! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to assigning. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX3, $57 a month, both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood pellet grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood pellet grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a KCUSA church located in town Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56.
Welcome back on this Wednesday, July the 3rd. Tomorrow, the big 4th of July holiday. We will not have a show. We'll be back on Friday. John Varlas will return on Friday as well after a week off last week. KJ Wright, of course, former NFL player who has his charity basketball game coming up this weekend. He's going to join us on Friday as well. He's got that game coming up on Saturday night. Jason Sobel, who covers the PGA Tour, he'll join us as well on Friday. Of course, we'll have 10 in a row. That'll all be on Friday, but no show tomorrow. Again, with the 4th of July holiday, fireworks shows going on. Today, you've got the Liberty for All event, which starts at 5 o'clock over at Liberty Park. That's free admission, free parking, live entertainment, food trucks, carnival games, and fireworks. Redbirds will have their fireworks tonight. Bartlett fireworks are tonight at the Flaherty Municipal Center. That's Highway 70 in Appling. They'll have some live music, food trucks as well. Collierville at Cox Park, their fireworks are tonight. Germantown will have their fireworks tomorrow night at Germantown Municipal Park. Graceland has the All-American Weekend going on. They'll have fireworks Saturday night. They'll have a Memphis music concert on the 5th, fireworks on the 6th. So they've got that going on out there. Central Gardens will have a parade tomorrow morning, 10:30. Olive Branch has a celebration going on Friday and Saturday. All kinds of 4th of July stuff going on, but a lot of fireworks shows tonight going on in the various parts of town. Mentioned the Grizzlies and Summer League will get underway on Monday. You know, Grizzlies play in both the Utah Summer League, which is only 4 teams out there, and then they go to Vegas where you get all the teams. But in the Utah Summer League, starting on Monday, they will play the Jazz. That'll be an 8 o'clock game on Monday night. Then on Tuesday, they play the 76ers at 6 o'clock, and that means they'll be playing against David Jones, who is on the 76ers Summer League squad. He'll be getting that. He's supposed to be signing a 2-way deal with them. That was reported after the draft. And then on Wednesday, they play Oklahoma City. That also a 6 o'clock game. So they play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Utah, 8 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. Then they move on to Vegas, where they will play their first game in Vegas on Friday. They will play Sacramento. That will be a 5 o'clock game on Friday night. That's a week from Friday. That'll be on NBA TV. Then they play Monday against Dallas, Monday the 15th, in a 7 o'clock game on ESPNU. Then they'll play Orlando on Wednesday the 17th, another 6 o'clock game. That'll be on ESPN Plus. And then they play a back-to-back. They come back the Thursday the 18th. They will play New Orleans, and that will be at 5 o'clock, and that'll be at NBA TV. So you'll be able to see the games out in Vegas. I think all of the games, including the Utah games, will be available on the Grind City Media app as well. You'll be able to watch these games, so you can check out the Grizzlies in Summer League. And again, as we always warn, don't overreact to the dominant. You know, if somebody starts playing well, don't go crazy. Again, Zach Edey should dominate the Summer League because Zach Edey's going to be going against guys that he's already shown the ability to dominate when he was in college. Most of the guys he's going to be going against are guys he went against in college, and he dominated them. So, yes, he should dominate the Summer League. It would be a little surprising if he doesn't put up big numbers in the Summer League. From the NBA today, again, earlier I mentioned it, LeBron James has agreed to a new deal with the Lakers. Shocking, I know. There was some reports. First, they said it was going to be the max deal, but he may take a little less than the max. Not to go get DeMar DeRozan. We're not talking a lot of money here, but they're trying to stay out of the second apron. And if he takes the max, I think it puts him like $1 million or $2 million over the second apron level. So, there are some reports that he will take a little bit less, maybe $1 million or $2 million, in order to keep them under the second apron in the luxury tax. Because again, there are a lot of restrictions when you get into the first apron, but there are a ton of restrictions when you get into the second apron, including if you do the second apron 3 out of a 5-year stretch, your first round draft pick the next year automatically goes to the end of the first round. So teams do not want to be in that second apron if at all possible. They want to avoid it. Klay Thompson obviously headed to the Dallas Mavericks. Ron texts in, says Klay makes Dallas better. And again, we talked about that. Again, and as DeMichael said, it's different for Klay Thompson. But at the same time, Luka Doncic kicking out to Klay Thompson for a 3 is a hell of a lot better than kicking out to Derek Jones Jr. for a 3-pointer. I mean, Klay is still one of the best shooters. Like, he's a 40% dude on 9-10 attempts per game over the past few years. So he still can shoot the dang basketball. And so, again, we talked about Zach. I think you said that you make them somewhat better. That what your term was, and I agree with that. I think he does. He is a better shooting option than what they had in that spot before. So it makes them better. How much better? I don't think tremendously better, but somewhat better. But again, they were the 5th seed last year. Does it move them up to the 4th, 3? Where does it exactly put them in the Western Conference? We'll see. There is a report, Ramona Shelburne and Kendra Andrews, that his last proposal to the Warriors was a 2-year contract for $20 million annually. What did he get? What was his deal from the Mavericks?
Was it 3 years, 50?
3 years, 50. So he's just under $17 million. He offered the Warriors 2 years at $20 million, which is interesting. Like, if you were going to take, I guess he was going to 2 years. So that Dallas gives him more. It's more total money in Dallas than it would have been if Golden State had said that, had accepted that. But you think if you're going to give the discount, it would be kind of to stay where you were. But the response from the Warriors were, we just can't do it yet. And again, with their situation, I don't think they could afford to pay Klay Thompson $20 million a year. If I'm the Warrior, like, you might as well start the rebuild. I mean, they're trying to hold on to this thing, going to get Kyle Anderson, talking about trading for Buddy Hield. Steph Curry's still really, really good. Draymond, well, he's Draymond. I like Kuminga. I like some of the young pieces. Like, to me, I'd just be going that direction. Like, if you don't want to trade Steph because you just can't see that being able to pull that off, okay, whatever. But you're like, what are they grasping at? The play-in? DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, say you get Buddy Hield, Steph Curry. Like, are you any better than a play-in team at that point?
Or might be in the play-in. Or just, like, on the fringe of it.
I mean, like, I just don't, like, I just feel like they're clinging to these last few years of Steph Curry, and it's like, why? I mean, you might as well start the rebuild. You're in no way with that group competitive with the top 4 or 5 teams in the Western Conference.
Unless you're banking on, well, I don't know. I was going to say you're banking on Wiggins, but they're
trying to trade him.
Reports they trying to shop him. So.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of him.
Yeah,
and even if you put him again on that team, like, okay, say Curry, Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, Draymond Green. I just don't see that team. The best they are is a play-in team that might win in a play-in and get in as a 7 or 8 seed.
Which makes sense from the Warriors end why they would be interested in a Lauri Markkanen, because they're like we need somebody next to Steph that can hold their own, and I guess I was kind of surprised they didn't take the Chicago deal for Zach LaVine, and they get a first round pick off of the Bulls.
That might be just lack of trust in him being healthy, coming off the injury. I don't know.
I mean, their entire Warriors team wasn't healthy last year.
But if you look at Grizzlies, Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, OKC, they're all the Warriors can't. I don't think the Warriors could do anything to catch those five.
No.
The Lakers, I think, are ahead of them. Probably.
Maybe.
Phoenix, Sacramento.
Sacramento's ahead of them for sure.
Houston, who was finished right behind them last year.
They're close.
Like, to me, if I'm Golden State, it's just time to admit it. Hey, it's done. The run's over. Let's start with these young guys. Let's see if Jonathan Kuminga is truly and Moses Moody and Pajemski. Let's just go with those guys. Hell, I would be looking to trade Steph. You know what? I know it sucks because he's a legend and all that, but we got to look at the future, and it's time for a rebuild and start over. But they seem to be trying to grasp at it here with these moves that they are making and trying to hold on to every last thing they can, and I just don't think it's worth it.
Steph Curry signed a 4-year, $215 million deal at the start of the 2022 season, so he's coming towards the tail end of that deal.
So he's got 2 years left on that, right?
Yeah, so it's 55 this year, and then it's 59 in the last year.
Which, I mean, it's a crazy amount of money, and that's hard to make a deal. But again, for Steph Curry, there'll be some teams that figure it out.
He'll be 37 once this deal is maybe complete.
If they miss the playoffs this year, maybe they'll admit it. And then going into next year, last year of the deal, expiring contract, maybe they will try and make a move.
I'm now I'm trying to figure out who would want Steph. I mean, obviously everybody wants Steph Curry, but you got to have the money to make that work.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's no doubt. And I don't know, I'd have who's coming off books for other teams, all that type of stuff. But
would Minnesota get into that? You could trade Karl-Anthony Towns to kind of make that work, can you? I mean, hypothetically, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but
it would have to be like a Carl. You have to have Karl-Anthony Towns, but like a McDaniels, both combined together. What's Towns' contract?
He get paid a lot.
He's he's only is he 40?
Towns, right now he's getting paid $49.
Oh gosh,
I know. And check this out, Eli. At the end of his deal, he has a player option.
But see that thing, for Golden State, that would make no sense because they don't want. His isn't expiring.
No.
Yeah, they would have to be. Golden State would have to get it as an expiring contract.
Nah.
And then a bunch of draft and other stuff.
Right.
So if the contract's not expiring, that serves no purpose for Golden State on a deal like that.
You want to guess what's his money at the end of his contract?
Is it get to 60?
He gets to 60.
Gosh.
61 to be exact.
Man.
At age 32.
I'll tell you what, these dudes, man, NBA contracts. What a deal. Maybe we're talking, Jason Tatum's averaging over $60 million a year. I'm telling you, Ja Morant, if everything goes well, Ja Morant, his next max deal with the Grizzlies, the last year's salary of that will be probably over $80 million. Which is, whew. Can you imagine making $80 million for 1 year of playing basketball? Basically, if you play the full season, $1 million a game, and you're not playing the full season?
Listen, it's not too late for me to pick up a basketball. That's all I'm saying. It's not too late.
Man. That's good work if you can get it. If only I could have been 7 feet tall. Genesis Diamonds. You don't have to make $80 million a year to be able to afford some beautiful jewelry from Genesis Diamonds. Great prices on an amazing selection of jewelry. That's what you'll find at Genesis Diamonds, and some great service as well. They're salespeople. Nobody's earning commission over there, so they're not there to pressure you into buying something more expensive. They're just there to help you pick out a perfect piece of jewelry for what it is that you're looking for. Maybe it's an engagement ring. Maybe it's a present for a birthday or an anniversary, whatever it is, and whatever you're looking for, from a ring to a necklace to earrings, maybe a pre-owned Rolex watch. They're there to help you pick that perfect piece of jewelry out. They'll educate you, make you a smarter shopper when it comes to buying jewelry. Listen, guys, we don't know a damn thing of what we're looking for when we're buying jewelry most of the time. Genesis Diamonds will educate you. These are things you should look for. Like when you're looking at a diamond, this is how you can tell. This is what's affect prices, this and that, everything. They'll educate you, make you smarter when it comes to buying jewelry at Genesis Diamonds. Prices are absolutely amazing. Selection, absolutely amazing. Service is absolutely amazing. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. Go check them out. We finally know where Aaron Rodgers was when he wasn't at Jets mandatory camp. We'll tell you where in the world was Aaron Rodgers when we continue on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event, and it's going strong at Dawson Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We got it! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Bricks Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Bricks Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Bricks can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Bricks Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Bricks Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or brickspowdercoating.com.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips. Now with 3 times greater scent control. Because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
That's right, Randy. I've got 2024 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab 4-wheel drive, $649 a month.
Man, that is awesome. What else you got, Ronnie?
2024
RN 194282, MSRP 48595. Jeep RL 116172, MSRP 51690. Charger PH 612877, MSRP 55110. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Payments include PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. And once again, our Greg Gaston and Eli Support.
So when Aaron Rodgers was not at Jets mandatory minicamp, and Robert Saleh came out and said it was an unexcused absence, but yet they knew where it was a very confusing situation, but they would never say where Rodgers was. Now we find out he was in Egypt. Well, because why wouldn't he be? Apparently, Rodgers booked the trip to Egypt during last season when he was recovering from his Achilles injury. He thought it would be after the offseason program was complete. And then when the dates came out for their mini camp, realized there was a conflict. And while the Jets said it was an unexcused absence, they were okay with him still going on the trip. This is a story. It is from, who was it wrote this story? SNY, Connor Hughes. They say the reason, it gave him something, he booked a trip because it gave him something to look forward to during one of the lowest points of his career. How about that? He needed a trip to Egypt to just get him through the Achilles injury. He just needed that to look forward to. And he had long admired Egyptian culture and scheduled the visit for what he was believed to be after the off-season programs. And then from the Jets side of things in this story, they say they didn't want to set a precedent for players missing mandatory workouts for pre-planned trips. While they're aware of Rodgers' trip and understanding of why it was important to him, their public stance on the matter gave the impression they were not and discounted Rodgers' near-perfect attendance throughout the voluntary portion of the offseason program. Story also says the players didn't really care because of the fact that he was there during the voluntary portion of the program. So again, whether it is a big deal or not, I guess we'll find out. It doesn't appear to be a big deal, but if it wasn't a big deal, I don't know why the Jets didn't just say beginning, hey, he's on a trip, he planned it, didn't realize it was going to be during minicamp, we gave him the okay to go. Why they still kept saying it was an unexcused absence and acting like they were mad when they technically weren't mad, who knows. Also from the NFL, last night was the debut of the Giants' off-season Hard Knocks. And I didn't get to see the first episode. I heard it was really good. I know there was a big conversation about Saquon Barkley and whether anybody would be willing to pay him. Obviously, we know that somebody was willing to pay him all this stuff. But I think an off-season version of Hard Knocks, this could be really interesting. I'm looking forward to watching that probably today when I get home. But that did debut last night. The Giants, the subject of the off-season, a new off-season edition of Hard Knocks. So I wish it was the Jets. It'd be better if it was the Jets and we could have seen this whole thing play out on Hard Knocks possibly. But so Aaron Rodgers was in Egypt. We now have that mystery solved.
So why didn't he schedule this before minicamp?
He thought it was after. When he scheduled it, he thought he had scheduled it because he scheduled it during the season last year to have something to look forward to because he needed that to get through one of the low points in his career. And so he thought, I don't know why you would even get close. Like you have to have, you have a pretty good idea when they're going to be. Like he was trying to hit like the next day apparently. Like they'll be this day and then I'll leave the next day. I don't know, but he missed. He missed the target.
Like if he had a question of whether, like what day minicamp start, he could have just asked the front office whether.
You'd think he could have scheduled it for like July, and you're good. Like just do it at or the very end of June. There are a lot of times he could have scheduled it and it not really had a chance to be conflicting with that. But he messed up. That happens. You plan a trip to Egypt, sometimes It happens.
He could have done it in April. Like, there's nothing going on in April. Last time I checked, there's nothing going on in March either.
Hell,
or in May.
He could have went during the season last year.
He could have.
He could have just left.
No.
He didn't have to look forward to it. He could have just went. And he's a big fan of Egypt. So that's why he had to go.
For a smart man that he claims himself to be, that's just a little lapse in judgment.
Aaron's just weird. And Aaron is out for Aaron and only Aaron. And we'll see if he's healthy this year, how good the Jets are with him. They should be pretty darn good if he stays healthy. And again, this probably won't matter at all. But yes, it's just one of the weird things about Aaron Rodgers that just continue to happen. Like, yes, you could have easily scheduled that to where you knew for a fact it wasn't going to conflict with anything that was going on. But he chose to try and apparently hit the mark perfectly, and he ends up hitting it during minicamp. That'll do it for us today. Thank you to Keith Wood, to Kerry Miller, to DeMichael Cole, all joining us on the program today. Again, no show tomorrow, back on Friday. John Varlas, KJ Wright, Jason Sobel, 10 in a row, all coming up on Friday's edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Enjoy your 4th of July holiday. Enjoy the fireworks if you're going to a fireworks show. If you're shooting off fireworks, be safe. And be respectful of your neighbors as well. Don't be doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning. But enjoy your 4th of July holiday. We'll talk to you again on Friday. Wolo and Friends coming up next with Bryant and Zach. For Zach, I'm Eli. Happy 4th of July. And have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody.